The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it does now comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
All right. Welcome back, all my peeps. Well, tonight, again, we are going to give the sound for reckoning. So without any further ado, I want to say big up to all the supporters who continue to support us, because big up to all the people in the chat. Right? Honestly, I can't even get into the chat because the chat is running away. But big up to all of the people in the chat. And Umbrella, welcome to you all. Right, without any further delay, because we have so much to do tonight, we are going to, as usual, do Lady Spinks. All right, meet and greet.
Yeah, good evening, Uncle Byron. Good evening, Melting Pot, who's coming in shortly.
Yes.
Good evening to everyone in the chat. Thank you for supporting us over here. Good evening to Comrade Leader, our chairman, chairwoman, our VPs, Gensec, and our 63 candidates that went up in the last election, and every Blood and Fire comrade, especially my Blood and Fire comrades out of Northwest St. James. And I would like to say congratulations to our comrade Floyd Itchman, who is now the president of the St. James Lay Magistrate. He was appointed this week, and we congratulate him. He's our chairman for Norwood Division, and we are so happy for his promotion. And I would like to say good evening to Bolo, Anne-Marie, hot off the press, my friend Conrad from Straight Talk, and everybody else in Jamaica. Good evening.
All right. Now, let me give a personal big up to Conrad O'Brien, the real fireman. People want to support Conrad, because that man really have the fire as well. Always burning the issues. So go on and that. Now, Jamaica, having said that, it is, how should I put this now? I mean, really a distasteful taste in a lot of Jamaican mouth in terms of, the prime minister, right? Make his position clear as it relates to UN in terms of, not going against or calling out Israel for what it is, right? Basically genocide. It is what it is, call it a spade. But we see where the prime minister try to be diplomatic, right? In terms of not wanting to call them out. And, on the other hand, you have, neighboring country like Barbados, Mia Motley came out, right, and, call a spade a spade. We love that. Love that coming from Mia Motley, right? And other persons in the Caribbean who, you understand, denounce, that sort of action, right, carried out by, the Israel Prime Minister. But we are going to show, right, some situation where that is concerned. Let us get into the matter, my people, without any further ado. People, Melting Pot will be opening a little bit late, but nevertheless, he'll be coming in. All right. So let us get this as it relates to the Prime Minister here. Right. Let us get this up and ready. Let us share this. What is going on here on the thing? Okay. Oh, this thing is asking me to log in. What is this going on here? Hold on, people. That document, I seem to lose that document. All right, let me just go back. What is going on? All right, just bear with me, my people.
Technical director is out. The technical director is out. Official technical director.
No, but I placed the document there, so obviously,
Yeah.
right, something went wrong there, right? Something went definitely wrong there, peeps. Right? Don't have that document. So let me just get back out of that. Okay, but let us see if we get the other document in terms of. Okay, let me stop share this. Right, so obviously something went wrong there. Right. People, trust me, it's not my fault tonight. It's something going on here. What the heck? I know. People, I have loaded the document, but just be with me here. Let me see what is going on. Share screen. Share.
What, you're off screen?
No,
You're not on screen?
that's what it's saying.
Go back to this. Okay. You're not sharing it.
Yeah, look, I shared it. Look, share screen, share screen.
Find the document.
I found a document, share it. That is what is coming up. It seems like
Turn off the camera.
all right, people, just bear with me. People, give me 10 minutes. Let us fix this because something wrong with the system. Just bear with us. 10 minutes, we'll fix and come back.
Just go back to the main screen, please, and just turn off the camera.
Okay. All right, hold on.
That's all I need to do.
This is it.
The camera.
Okay. The folders. See, the folders are there.
Which one you want?
This.
What was on it? Wait, what was it under?
See how, okay, see where it started here. This,
That one?
yeah.
1 sec. What's the topic it's under?
Jellybug foreign policy.
This one?
Yeah. So what happened to it? None of them, all of them affected.
I mean, all of them.
Yeah, none of them not share.
I mean, none of them not sharing.
Okay.
1 sec. That will
Okay.
share.
Okay.
So I don't understand what you're saying. 1 sec. This is what you want?
Okay. I have this.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. So.
Close that. There.
So
it's over there. Jamaica remains.
So them gone here. Them switch up.
That one you want, I cannot put it back.
Okay.
Put
Okay.
it over there. So over there.
All right. So. All right, sorry about that. All right. Sorry about that, people. All right. Let us get into sharing the document. Okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're good. We're good. Let me just pull up what this. Hold on. I'm not good. Okay.
Against walking out alongside. Are you in a position to say why Jamaica decided against walking out alongside other countries during Israel's Prime Minister's address?
Yes, and I've actually said so publicly already. I am happy to repeat that this is not the practice of Jamaica's diplomacy, that we prefer to listen, to be at a table, to engage, whether we agree or disagree. As I just stated earlier, that we are not performative in our practice of diplomacy. The walkout, as I understand, it wasn't even a walkout by the whole UN. UN is 193 members. I think the greatest estimate I saw was 70. I'm not sure at what level. And as I stated before, we're not judging countries who choose to act in this way. We're not criticizing them. That's their choice. But the reason Jamaica, or one of the reasons that Jamaica is always a respected voice, is because of our willingness to always engage. And that is something we don't resile from. We are not a chest-beating administration. We're not ego-based. We're not image-based. And we are really focused on solutions. So we called for the things which we believe are important, as we have continued to. And being present, or rather not being present, would not have advanced or harmed a position in any way. So I cannot explain any more beyond what I have already stated.
Honestly, my Jamaican people, that is definitely bad as it relates to where Jamaica stand on their foreign policy. Plus, when you're dealing with a situation that's tantamount to genocide, right, where obviously the Prime Minister is going to, side with Israel. Not too way about that, right? Didn't want to come out, right, outright and, oppose what Israel was doing. So that is a fundamental wrong. And we have seen it with its administration in Jamaica as it relates to human rights abuse, right? Because as it relates to judicial killings, the Prime Minister has not come out, right, and speak against it. The Prime Minister has not, the Commissioner of Police has not come out and speak against extrajudicial killings. The Minister of National Security has not come out and speak about judicial killings. So when you see that sort of atrocity, right, by Israel meeting out to the Palestinians, right, it is actually mimic Andrew Holness administration, because that is the very same way they are behaving in Jamaica. Now, let us look to show you the difference as it relates to the People's National Party, right, coming out, right, and denounce, right, the action of Israel. Let us look on that and show Jamaican people, right, where Mark Golden, right, the opposition leader, right, stand on the matter, right, to show you as it relates to good governance and good leadership, like Michael Manley going against apartheid, right? So, what the heck? I don't know. What is this? Just hold on, folks, because again, you know, I'm having some serious issues here. Share. Oh my goodness. Okay, here it is. Right? Can you see it, Sphinx?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay, all right. I don't, what the heck is going on tonight? Let me go in it again. Share it. The thing out. Okay. Have you seen it now, Sphinx?
Yes.
Okay. Here it
Yeah.
is. PNP criticizes government silence on Palestine at UN. Let us read that. Kingston, Jamaica, the opposition People's National Party has condemned the government for what it described as a failure to show solidarity with the Palestinian people during key moments at the United Nations General Assembly. No joke about that. In a statement on Tuesday, opposition spokesperson on foreign, regional, and diaspora affairs, Senator Donna Scott Motley, raised concerns about Jamaica's absence from a vote on whether Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas should have been allowed to address the assembly remotely after being denied a U.S. visa. She also criticized the administration's decision not to join other countries in walking out during Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu address. Now, I mean, look, there's no way, and knowing what the United States have done, right, because they don't want to hear, right, the man utterance at the UN. They have not given him any visa, right? Now, remember, we are talking about Donald Trump leadership as it relates to him being the president. If you remember when the white policeman kneeled down in the black man's neck, right? He did not see any problem with that. Donald Trump did not see any problem with that. And when people came out, right, and marching against the cruelty, he sent out a narrative there that blue life matters. Now, the people weren't going against the police. The people were calling out a specific criminal activity, extrajudicial killing that the people were pointing out. The policeman knelt in the black man neck until death. Donald Trump did not come out, right, and spoke out against it. So this reminds me in terms of what Andrew Wallace is supporting. Andrew Wallace is supporting the same mess. See it again, Donald Trump, right? Also, the US denied visa from not having Mahmoud Abbas speak his truth. The level of cruelty that meet out, and yet they silence him. And where Andrew Wallace is taking a side with that. That is cruelty, my people. Jamaica has always been respected internationally for standing firmly on matters of justice and human rights. Scott Matley said, no joke about that. To be absent from the vote and to remain seated while others registered protests is a clear departure from that proud tradition. Our silence sends the wrong signal to the international community and to the Palestinian people who continue to suffer. And let us show, right, as it relates to the suffrage, right? They are suffering, right? Let us show this. This is just madness. This is just madness. Right? This is just madness, my people. Right? We can't stand for this. Can't stand for this. I keep on saying what today I run so smoothly, and now my thing is just, what is going on? I just don't know. This thing is just, let me just reload this thing again, because I don't know what is going on, to be honest. Let me cancel that. Let me just reload this thing again. Sky News. Yeah, I am having a problem with this. Let me just reload this again. Copy. Let me just. Sorry about that, but okay. Yo, why if you have to come out of our ailment to, you know, assist, but
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Come on to WhatsApp.
all right. So I mean, we can't, you know, as a country, right, tolerating issues like that, right? The skies, yeah. Something.
I think it's when I rebooted the internet and kick up all the apps.
Oh, so that's what happened. It was rebooted. Okay, so and it kicked all of them off. Okay, but tell me, I see what's really wrong. Okay. So all right. So we understand what the issue is. We put up the file, but we did reboot the system, so the system automatically kick off all the files. So it's still showing, but it is not there, although it was it's still showing. So we have to reload them, right? So really and truly, it's not really my fault, right? It just never recognized that that was the situation going on there. On the yeah. Okay. So could just close out all of these and just reload them
Only the ones that have links.
because they are not.
That's what you need.
Okay, yes. So,
All the ones that have links. Hold on.
so all one that have links affected,
Yeah.
and many of them have links.
Hold on. Okay, that one's okay.
So
This one's okay.
that is okay.
Let's close that.
That is okay too.
That one's okay.
Okay. That's okay.
So it's just this one.
Okay, so that one was a problem.
Why?
Okay.
Should.
So take it off.
16 should. Okay.
Exit.
So this is the one you wanted. That's over here now.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
It should be good.
So it should be good now in terms of settings. Okay, all right. Oh, okay. Well, I will say, man, the devil is a liar. We're still going on tonight.
Amen.
Okay, all right. So let us play here just to show what been happening in the Gaza, right? Oh boy, I'm telling you, people, dread. Now, we have to be serious. And this is what Andrew Honest refused from calling a spade a spade. Right? Israel is wrong. And it's sad. The amount of children have been hurt. Right? And you can't stand in any way, shape, or form in support of something like this. Can't in no way, shape, or form. And so then, this is a serious dilemma. Let me bring Spinks in the space for Spinks to speak on the matter. Go ahead, Sister Spinks.
Yeah, thanks again, Uncle Byron, for having me. Well, you see, during slavery, you always have the Africans who actually sold the slaves into slavery, or who have a house slave mentality, who always try to befriend the colonials and always have a soft spot in their heart for the colonials. Now, after we went through 400, our ancestors went through 400, over 400
Hold
years of
on,
slavery.
hold on, Spinks. Spinks, did you see the video?
Yes, I saw the video.
People are saying that they didn't see the video.
No, you did not put up the video here.
Huh?
But I remember you sent me the video before, so I saw it before.
No, no,
But
no,
you
no,
did
no.
not put it.
Okay. All right. Let me. What is going on?
Should I
Okay.
continue talking?
Let me share the video and let me go back and put up the video. Something is going on here. Right? Copy the link. Let me just
We'll just stay in the room here, so I'm gonna have to go up and down, up and down.
let me just put up the video again. Okay.
Mom, I was shocked. This is our house right now. This is our house. And I'm shocked because I lost my words. What happened was that 1 second I was in the house, me and my brother were on the laptop. Second minute we're in the streets, we don't have anywhere to go, we're lost, we're scared. I don't understand. Why? Why is this word like this? See this? This is what they told us to do after bombing our house. To go to the south. After what? What do you? I don't even have a choice at this point because where am I gonna go? If you destroyed my house, destroyed everything that I had in it, and now you're telling me to go to the south like I'm just some toy. You can.
Yes, yes.
What is this? I don't understand anymore how people can let this happen. I only was able to bring this bag that barely has any clothes in it, and the laptop that I use to study and get my education, and all of my toys, even my favorite plushie, which is called Panda. All of it is lost. You see, this is a hospital. It used to be full of life. Used to be. The purpose of it was to help patients survive. Now people live in it, even though it's completely destruction. And people now will have to evacuate from it. Our only hope now is to go back to Nusayrat and go back to the horrible life we had there before, and try our best to live no matter what, because this is the life of Palestinians. No matter how many times they let us leave our homes or destroy our homes, we're still going to resilient and stay on our land because we are Palestinians and this is our land and it's in our names.
Oh, boy. I tell you, it really sad Jamaica, right? Seeing something like this and understand as it relates to what Andrew Wallace is supporting. Obviously, the People's National Party definitely came out against it, right? And it is a dilemma to know that the very same behavior that you see from Netanyahu and Donald Trump is actually the same behavior of the JLP administration as it relates to human rights, going against human rights. because as it relates to extrajudicial killings, right, we have seen the very same behavior. The Prime Minister has not come out and addressed anything as it relates to extrajudicial killing. The Minister of National Security has not come out and addressed anything relating to extrajudicial killing, right? The Commissioner of Police has not come out and addressed anything, right, as it relates to extrajudicial killing. And we see a pattern of behavior. If you remember when the white policeman kneeled in the black policeman neck, and most of the black communities in America came out, right, and they were speaking about it, right? Then what Donald Trump said, Donald Trump is saying blue life matters, referring to the police as well. And remember, the people weren't against the police, the people were talking about that particular behavior. But this is the way we spin it. We have seen the same spinning going on with the Jamaica Labour Party. Whenever you talk about extrajudicial killing, you understand, the Commissioner of Police came out and spin it, talking about people who shooting at police. When that is not the issue, right? Then sidestep the issue, right? So when you look and you can see that Andrew Holness administration is taking some same policy trend as it relates to Donald Trump administration, the very same behavior, right? Following Donald Trump, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. Now, let me just squeeze in Sister Spinks in terms of what Sister Spinks has to say about this, and then we have Melting Pot juggling on the juggling. Sister Spinks.
The colonial mindset of the same people, the same race, posing up with the colonials because they want a little extra sweet. And for 400 years, African slavery existed, in which the slaves were dehumanized, and many of the slaves were sold because of other Africans selling them into slavery. Now, when we look at come forward into history, and we remember apartheid. Apartheid was in three different countries in the southern part of Africa, the continent of Africa, and Cuba and Jamaica were two of the first countries that went there and tried to resolve and stood up against apartheid. When we think of the fact that we have people like Mallahu, Member of Parliament, last governance, she said, some people should not know their rights. With this kind of thinking is a colonial thinking, because she was referring to the guys who actually took the government to court because of their rights, human rights were trampled on during SOE, and they lost their jobs. Now we think of the Jews back in the World War II. Let's go back to Israel now. Let's look at the Jews in World War II. 6 million, about 6 million of them died
Yes.
in genocide. And to see that they now are doing the same thing, because during World War II, the Jews were placed in camps. And to me, right now, Palestine is one of the biggest open camps right now, similar to the Holocaust that the Jews went through back in Germany or in Europe during World War II. But when you come forward again in history and you see how the island of Hispaniola, the island known as Hispaniola, was divided into Haiti on the left, Dominica
Yes.
on the right. And when we look at how the president of Dominican Republic, how he treats the Haitians who cross the border, human rights have been violated again. When you think of the Haitians who are trying to leave their country because they want to be somewhere safe and come to Jamaica, And after our hypocrite demon possessed squatting Andrew Holness in the office of Prime Minister, that man come out and made public statements saying that he would help the Haitians. What did he do? He took advice from the Americans, sent our soldiers into Haiti to fight against barbecue. Do you remember that? Do you Jamaicans remember that? No. Barbecue himself came out and said he's disappointed in Andrew's behavior because he did not expect Andrew to fight against our Haitians. And every time a boatload of Haitians come here, what Andrew do? Send them back. How can you say you're going to be helping the people and yet send them back into war?
Because
So you see, if he doesn't even treat his own people with respect, why would he treat a stranger, a non-Jamaican, with respect? When we look at Kamina Johnson coming out and making that speech a while ago, remember, Kamina Johnson was the same one who hid in a bathroom at the UN when there was a vote supposed to go on.
Yes.
This same Kamina Johnson hid in the bathroom and did not vote. No, when we look at our police murder rate right now, over 230 persons so far have been murdered by police. And the latest victim was just since week. The latest victim was just since week. And his name is his name is Montague, right? Young man was lying in his bed, half naked, in the middle of the day, taking a nap like any regular Jamaican. And a squadron of police and soldiers went in. And they claimed that he fired back at them. Now, one man against soldiers and police. How many times are we going to hear this story? And when we look at the Palestinian people right now, historically, they are two cousins, descendants of two cousins, and they're fighting against each other. When will this stop? Why are the aid? Why is the aid of Palestine cut off? Why is it Israel? Israel was not a nation, did not have any land in 1940 in that region. They lost all their land. And they went back there and the UN voted and they campaigned for some land in that area. They got some land and they kept expanding and fighting the Palestinians in the area. And they kept expanding and expanding until now you could have a small little strip of land for the Palestinian people. At some point we have to stand up with the Palestinian people and say enough is enough.
Exactly.
Why is it you have this open prison? Children, mothers, fathers, the elderly. We all saw the war. We all saw the bombs being dropped in hospitals and their excuses time after time and time after time. When will this war ever end? When will it end? And how can we stand up with America right now and say it's okay to drop bombs over there? It's not okay anymore. The time comes for us to say stop. Please, Israel, step back. They are your cousins. The Palestinians and the Israelites are cousins. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right, melting pot right under Raleigh. Take it over because later trouble in the house. Melting pot, take it away.
Yeah, the situation you're discussing at the current time is the situation between the Israelites and the Palestine. Okay? Now, that is a long-standing dispute between those two sets of people. I think that dispute run over 150 years now since they have been,
Yeah, you're
having
correct.
this tug of war with this piece of land that we know to be Gaza. But what is currently happening is that we see where Benjamin has been using a style of annexation of the people from half of Gaza land as it relates to, you know, the devastating demolition of Gaza. And you know that the Americans are behind it, yeah, in the sense that they not only supply Israel army with aids as it relates to guns and ammunition, United Kingdom as well is another major supplier. Now, we all know that Israel rely on those two major countries to fuel them with arms and guns. And if the international community, have any interest of de-escalating that era from the high tension of war, then they would have cut the arms supply into Israel. But they let it continue because it's money making thing. And I mean, Israel army is more mightier than Hamas, who is standing up for the Palestine people. And so, as an unrecognized leadership force, Hamas has been looked at by most international, heads of state as a terrorist group. But someone did have to stand up for the people in Gaza. Yeah. So the conflict that arise could have been dealt with on a more humanitarian level. But the Jews, them, which is the Israelites, them, is a
Mm-hmm.
powerful set of people in the world, trade and everything like that. Very wealthy people. And looking at the Palestine them as people from the Arab side of things, they are being looked down. So it's a segregation and race business. You understand? And where that is concerned, the Jews them are gonna have the upper hand. And so this is why America under President Trump has backed Benjamin Netanyahu to 100%, where you see him even help to destroy even Iran when Iran was trying to play a part in the war. Iran nuclear infrastructure was dealt a massive blow by the Americans. Yeah. But looking at the humanitarian side of things and what Israel has done, yeah, is that Israel troop under the command leadership of the defense minister and the prime minister has decided to just flatten Gaza without any respect for old people, young people, life, baby, and elderly, was classified as target. People who have no, actual activity in the war, never play a role in it, don't even know what type of negotiation is going on. Just some innocent people, but them life get destroyed to the extent where not even the hospital them spare. Because them say Hamas them, use the hospital for hide and target the Israel soldier. Now everything in a recent time, as we know, started out when time them say Hamas capture some people and kill some people from Israel. And that was, I think, 2 December ago, Christmas. I think was 2023, December. And that war has been going on ever since. Thousands of people have lost their life. I mean, not just the life, the home as well, whole infrastructure. Israel prevent international journalists from even going in and film what's happening. Yeah, so it's very little coming out of Gaza as it related to the high level of atrocity. And even the Red Cross was preventing from providing human resource to the people on the ground who were injured. Food supply was cut off at one point in time, and when it's not been cut off, it has also been, held back. And United Nations complain about it. But as far as we concerned, I mean, a little country like Israel not supposed to oppose much powerful nation coming from the United Nations Association. But anything America involved in, it get the green light from the president. So we know America have a lot to do with the war we are going on Gaza right now. Because Trump even come up with some lavish plan for Gaza when it's finally, demolish and clean up some casino, modernized thing will look like Dubai. Them want put there. But you can't put it there at the expense of people's life. That war should have never escalated to the point where it's going on now for 2 years, practically December coming. And
Exactly.
thousands of people lost their life and home, as I said. And even journalists get killed. Even United Nations workers them get killed. Because the bombing was of such that it not have the regard where the bomb was launched. Hospital, radio station, you name it. And I mean, Hamas as a little group of people. Yeah, they have some firearm, yes, but them not have nothing to stand up to the might of Israel army. And it could have been dealt with on a more humanitarian level where so much life never have for last. But I mean, Israel wanted to just once and for all get rid of Gaza. That has been the talk from Benjamin. Yeah, once and for all, you must eliminate Hamas, but he's just using Hamas, but it's the people from Palestine or for the Gaza Strip he want to eliminate. Because Hamas, they're all over the place, Because Hamas leadership, they're all in the state, in a Qatar and all those places. It's not just centered in Gaza. Yeah, it's a small minority of people that make up the leadership of Hamas, upon the ground in Gaza. So, and them know that. So when you hear them talk about, eliminate Hamas once and for all, you can't eliminate Hamas because you don't have to go to Qatar and even America to get some of them big boys to run Hamas. So it's the people them. And I mean, several outcry from various groups, even in the UK, were campaign against the suffering of the people in Palestine. But it fall upon their fears. Because as I said, if you want to de-escalate the war, yeah, you could have hold back on the arms supply. UK and America could have hold back on the arms supply. And I mean, Israel would have to scale down for them operation. But them keep fuel them with guns and ammunition and everything what them need for the war. And so, Hamas as a little group now cannot manage that. When the Iran them try to come in and help Hamas, you see what happened to Iran? Missile upon missile from Israel into Tehran. Yeah. And a lot of nuclear target. That's why Trump, fight the war with Israel to destroy Iran nuclear project for them say Iran have. So it was a two-carded thing I play in the Middle East. Two-carded thing, Israel government know them have the backing America 100%. And that's why even when you say Benjamin becomes a bit defiant in the last part, it's just a game them a play. Trump know exactly say so Benjamin have play the game. Trump gonna play a little propaganda like him tough and him have give a final warning. It's a game them a play because them want Gaza to turn it in a modern casino place with apartment and shopping center and all type of things. Something will look like Dubai. This is what they're after. And I mean, Donald Trump have the plan that didn't even show it. Them draw up the plan already.
Wow.
So you cannot displace people because you want to control a piece of strip because it's against the sea coast and turn it into a multi-billion complex. You can't do that. Because when you build back the house, them people will say I leave can't buy it, you know. And some fresh people them have put this up. Them people them have push them back further. God, them
Then a
people
similar
them
thing
say that
happening in
piece of land
Jamaica.
there.
Similar thing happening in Jamaica.
Well, yeah, the same thing happening in Jamaica, yes. Because I mean, you know, if you don't recognize dictatorship government, then these things will happen. You understand?
Exactly.
Anyway, and I mean Benjamin is a dictator. That's why Andrew go down there. Yeah. You have few dictators in the world now, you know. Putin, yeah, president for China, president for Korea, North Korea. And I mean, you have Benjamin, yeah. A lot of them you have rise up. Andrew is one of them. Andrew are the first one from around our side of the world. Cause him like enough of himself, as we all know. Yeah. But I mean, you know, when you can't have a war they're going on, an international journalist is not allowed to come in and do nothing. You know, say there's a lot of, you know, human atrocity where take place where them keep it like that because if the international journalists them up on the ground, you know, it have a show all over the world and you're gonna see it in a lifetime. Yeah. What we are getting now from out of Gaza is just some phone recording video from people who are just do the normal thing. You understand? No qualified journalists cannot be there.
All right.
The radio station, them knock it out, so you know, so no broadcast can come from Hamas to nowhere. So I just
All
say
right.
it goes so we have to just call upon the international wider community for just, you know, go in and try to calm the situation as best. Them say them come to our peace agreement. We don't go hope Hamas, you know, get a fair deal and not a raw deal. I yield back
All
the
right.
floor.
All right. Now that is melting pot. Now, my Jamaican people, remember earlier today I promised that we are going to deliver something that a lot of us know, but when it coming from a Jamaica Labour Party stalwart, then trust me, it can't get any more credible than that. And this Jamaica Labour Party stalwart decided that he has to speak the truth for history. Because some narratives that been shaping as it relates to the 80s is lie. As it relates to Edward Seaga, right? Doing this and making, you know, several development, right? He came out. As a matter of fact, he was a part of Edward Seaga administration. And he said, for the future, for the children to know the truth, he has to come out and speak the truth to make Jamaica know the history as it relates to Edward Seaga, who was his boss. And every majority of us know him. So let me show you. And people, he was, as a matter of fact, he was a mayor in Montego Bay in Jamaica Labour Party administration. Right? And this man is a stalwart. Now listen to this. Let me share this document, my people. Make we get into it, the truth as it relates to Edward Seaga. The 80s, truth about the 80s. Let us get into it. Here it is, my people. Jamaica debunking the myths about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. We know that when we finish with this document, of course, Melting Pot is going to bite into it. Springs is going to bite into it. And Jamaica should bite into this in this level of awareness. Now, this done on the 9th of June, 2022. Edward Seaga, here he is. Now, Jamaica debunking the myths about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. Jamaica's economic management has taken a turn in fairly recent times and is returning to the very scenario that we have long passed in the 1980s. With all its compelling lessons, pains, and unprecedented pressures on our citizens, for the benefit of our young people. You know what I say, people? Listen to this. Tune in. I want Jamaica to tune in into this. For the benefit of our young people and those who have forgotten that period, I will do a brief revisit so that there is greater clarity about what happened under Prime Minister Edward Seaga and Jamaica Labour Party. Now, the person who I'm talking, popularly known, here is him, Shalman Scott. Shalman Scott has been with the Jamaica Labour Party for more than 23 years. So we are not talking about any, junky punky guy. We are talking about Shalman Scott. Shalman Scott, the stalwart as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party administration. This man coming out to tell Jamaica the truth. Now, for the benefit of our young people and those who have forgotten that period, I will do a brief revisit so that there is greater clarity about what happened under Prime Minister Edward Seaga and the Jamaican Labour Party. I want Cliff Hughes, Marlon Morgan, right? All of them, listen to this. This article is not a get Eddie Seaga exercise, but a continuation of my attempt to purge our social, cultural, economic, and political history of lies, half-truths, omissions, and embellishments, and the general dishonesty so commonplace in the reportage and recording of this history. Jamaica, I want people to listen to this. This is Shalman Scott. In short, too much of our history, oral or written, simply lacks integrity, and the political period of the 1980s is no exception. I feel quite justified in writing about the facts of the period reference as I recall and saw it. I do so dispassionately and objectively. I was the first mayor of the city of Montego Bay, GLP councillor for 13 consecutive years for the Rosal division in the parish of St. James. This is Shalman Scott. I was also regional supervisor for Western Jamaica and Ocho for the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union and that union spokesman and tourism. In addition, I was lecturer in Caribbean Trade Union History at the University of West Indies School for Continuing Studies, and a plan this we are dealing with. As it relates to Western Jamaica, the Jamaica Maritime Institute and the Jamaica Tourist Board Visitor Information Section, Montego Bay area. I was also visiting lecturer in the History and Social Science Department at the Northern Caribbean University, Mandeville, Manchester. Later on, I was host of the RJR program aired from Montego Bay called The Western Response, produced by veteran journalist and broadcaster Marlene Stevenson Daly. Daddy, I have been a political analyst for multiple media platforms for over 33 years, Jamaica. So this is a well-established person, someone who had built the Jamaica Labour Party. He has never been a People's National Party. Shalman Scott. 33 years in Jamaica and occasionally for the British Broadcasting Corporation So we are talking about a stalwart, a man of brilliance, a man who have been there, done that. But he has seen where the truthful of the history have been misrepresented, distorted, right? Disinformation and misinformation as it relates to Andrew Holness and his administration, the lie that they told. Now, I have also been a retired businessman in tourism since 2006. All this to most humbly make the point that I was and have indeed been in the thick of things from back then, and that I have always loved my country and its people who have done so much for me, even as I make my small contribution to it. And so I am continually grateful. That is why I write particularly for succeeding generations, including my own dear grandchildren. What I have been hearing about this period of the 1980s and the impression that the narrative conveys is not only a steep stretching of the truth of what transpired, but the misleading of the young people in particular is of concern to me, and therefore I am compelled to act. What a man! What a man! Without his moral compass is so tall in talking the truth, speaking the truth to Jamaican people. Eddie Seaga's total political life did not begin and end with this period of the 1980s. Look at going at the history, people. While that period is the focus of this article, overall, there are some positives to Seaga's political life, which have been amply recorded in many places, including works such as the production of books by him. Considered by some to be a bright man, Seaga played no small role in the institutional building of this nation, and I admire him for not being a politician who sought to feather his political nest financially as far as it appears. I'm wanting to listen to people. So the man I give Edward Seaga him kudos, but the man is also talking the truth. This is Shalman Scott, never been a PNP, never been a PNP, right? Now, some people trust him to keep their dollar, but he also was far from being a saint. And that side of his personality, political activities, and utterances continue to make some people feel uncomfortable, and his tit-for-tat policy made others cringe. Now, to now hear all the nonsense being peddled about the period of the 1980s just won't cut it, and I will not allow the purveyors of the rubbish to have filed there uninterpreted. He's not going to allow that. And taking more than a cruel advantage of those who have forgotten, like many of those young generation who are jumping around for JLP. Totally lost. Many people lost the history. So Shalman Scott now is bringing them up to par. Those who were too young to recall and those who were born after this period. This article is dedicated to them, especially as my contribution to their clarity relative to our political history in particular. It is not intended to be an anti-Seaga article, but historical facts about a specific time in our political journey as a nation. This period within the context of the history of the international economy was called the second guided period. I want people to listen to this. The first guided period was known as the Great Depression of the 1929. The second guided period manifests itself in the form of an international debt crisis with a with a universal political response of structural adjustment in the form of reconfiguration of the economies of less developed and underdeveloped economies, particularly the response from the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the Paris Club was debt rescheduling, restructuring, and debt forgiveness. The finance minister of Mexico in 1982 announced that Mexico would unilaterally reschedule its debt in the first flagging of the enormity of the crisis. The two oil price shocks of the previous decade, coupled with the program of economic destabilization, listen people, which incorporated the flight of capital and massive closure of businesses and loss of jobs, created monumental damage to the tune of some 30% loss of GDP of the Jamaica economy. By 1976, the BOJ ran out of reserves, reflecting a negative balance which lasted for the next 20 years, ending in 1996. Right? This is the hand that Seaga was dealt, and which he enthusiastically shuffled the deck as the paramount local political agent of the process of destabilization. Let me read back that over. Come on, people forget it. This is the hand that Seaga was dealt, and which he enthusiastically shuffled the deck as the paramount local political agent of the process of destabilization. Any claim, therefore, that the 1980s was a period of progress is one of aggravated dishonesty. Externally, there were serious tensions in the world. These including the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the Iraq-Iran War of 1980-88, the continuing conflict and tension associated with the Arab-Israeli War in the previous decade, which precipitated contortions and distortions and the reconfiguration of the structure of the Jamaican economy in the 1980s. Now listen, people. Seaga lost control and became more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive and transformational leader. He responded to the challenges of the crisis with abrasiveness, insults, and threats against the Jamaican people. Let me read back that over, you know. Want to see shot this man is coming from, you know. Talking the truth, this man is scraping everything. Seaga lost control and become more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive and transformational leader. He responded to the challenges of the crisis with abrasiveness, insults, and threats against the Jamaican people. As Shalman Scott is saying this. In 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP ratio was 63%. More people put this in their head now. In 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaican debt to GDP ratio was 63%. Remember that Michael Manley, right, was ruling before. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989. So while Seaga took over from Michael Manley, which the debt to GDP ratio was 63%, right? During Edward Seaga time from 1980 to 89, the debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989. And me say that, as Shalman Scott saying this, which represent an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica indebtedness over the 9-year period of the GLP Seaga administration. Hold on the people, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you people. When you come here and listen to me now. Seaga took over power in 1980. And in 1983, Seaga called a snap election for Michael Manley. Michael Manley said now contest it. Seaga, who was the Minister of Finance from 1983 to 1989, Seaga run Jamaica having the 60 seats in Parliament and all the municipal council. People want to see the disgrace and the embarrassment. 1983 to 1989, Seaga has no opposition in Parliament. None. Let me read back over the paragraph. I couldn't understand what happened in 1983 to 1989. Right? To show you that the Jamaica Labour Party has no innovation. And when we said that Jamaica Labour Party has never built Jamaica, people coming up with all of them foolishness and all of them lies. See the evidence here now. In 1980 when Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP ratio was 63%. Do the history. Run the statistics. Between that period to 1989, the debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989, which represents an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica's indebtedness over the 9-year period of the GLP Seaga administration. You tell me, an administration that controls 60 seats, have no opposition, not one opposition, control all municipal in Jamaica, have the chance to put Jamaica and build Jamaica into Singapore. Damn it, Jamaica. You look on the history. You look on the history. Ask Big Mama to read this history. Ask Ross Davis to come and read this history. Enough people don't want to speak it. Enough people don't want to talk it. Between 1983 and 1989, Seaga called a snap election in 1983. Controlled 60 seats. All member of parliament, they are GLP. They were GLP. And as a matter of fact, Seaga was the Minister of Finance. He controlled the money. All municipalities, Seaga control it. So when you now roll up and down and talk about road and fixing and way, he has the country with all 60 seats. All the municipalities. Look at that. Any single digit growth in the economy, in the face of the growth in debt, was of no particular significance and consequence. It must be noted that the source of the minimal growth over the period was primarily due to a reduction in oil price in 1986 and beyond. Contrary to popular belief, this was not due to any successful investment projects nor any new investment apart from sweatshops in the garment industry. Him lock them down too, you know. That is to show you how wicked and cruel this man is, you know. David Rockefeller, who came to turn Jamaica into the Singapore of the Caribbean, packed his bag and left Jamaica in less than 5 months of his arrival, following several disagreements with Seaga. People don't listen to the history, man. Come listen to the history. Most ironically, the flight of capital continued under Seaga with ExxonMobil, the principal oil refinery pulling out of Jamaica. You look for that, people. Edward Seaga single-handedly wrecked Jamaica. The gas station lines were long and uncomfortable as people who had urgent business to attend to were locked in gas lines for hours. Life in Jamaica began to make no sense, people. No sense. Migration and brain drain gain momentum. The major backside companies followed closely behind Exxon leaving Jamaica. Want to hear that, people? Want to hear the cinema? From 1980 to 1983, the GLP government under Seaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. I can read back that over now. From 1980 to 1983, the GLP government under Seaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. And as the pressure of a rapidly deteriorating economy hit Seaga, he seized on a distraction of the political crisis in Grenada and called a snap election in 1983. The PNP did not contest, and so GLP had all 60 seats in the parliament and 21 in the Senate. People want to see the level of work business. When GLP they point out about this and point out that the Jamaica Labour Party stayed in power more time than the People's National Party, but yet the People's National Party have so many social programs. So who care about Jamaica? Who care about Jamaica? I'm going to read. The PNP did not contest, and so GLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. With no opposition in Parliament, Seaga began to indiscriminately wield his axe. Now, people don't hear this, you know. Instead of the man build the country, you know, people. The man has 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. Have as much power. Nobody now stop him. Nobody now oppose him. He could have passed any policy that he wanted to pass. He has the country to build the country. With no opposition in Parliament, Seaga began indiscriminately wield his axe. This included the tax acts as well as his axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closure and thousands of redundancies. Mighty God, man. Jamaica people want to look on the document. I don't know PNP write this, you know. I'm glad I don't know PNP write this, you know. And him own stalwart, him mayor, a man of university caliber, man who within academia, well researched, well studies. You hear what the man say? Instead of Edward Seaga having 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in Senate, what did he do? With no opposition in Parliament, Seaga began to indiscriminately wield his axe. This including the tax acts as well as axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closures and thousands of redundancies. Them never want me find the document, China. I'm going to the archive and dig it up in the people. 18,000 public sector workers lost their jobs. See the people, see the evidence there. We not tell no lie upon them, you know. I run out upon them tonight. I preach the gospel tonight. 18,000 public sector workers lost their jobs. He dismantled the structure of local government system, leaving the parish council with the singular responsibility of managing markets and cemeteries, bereaved of funds. The only duty left for mayors to perform without authority of the Ministry of Local Government was that of approving the exhuming of dead bodies. Mighty God. Come and say you hate you, brother. And we don't want people about Andrew Wellness. When we don't want people about JLP, Jamaica Labour Party government. We are here in social media warning the people. Now, look at this. The KCSE was abolished. Duckingfield and Grain Sugar Estate were closed. Money Teacher College and Jamaica School of Agriculture closed. An auction system introduced where those who wanted foreign exchange to conduct business could apply to BOJ twice per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Several hospitals were either closed or downgraded, including Ulster Spring, Spalding, Alexandra, Noel Homes in Lucy, Hardly in St. Thomas, listed to be downgraded. And that is why now JLP, now the damage they'll care and show Uno who is JLP. You think the American will love him? You think American will love him? You think, say, American will love him? Because America, you understand, you think America wants to see we develop and become strong? No. We are black people, we need to suffer. The community health aid program was abolished. The spraying of ganja, justifiable or unjustifiable, were damaging other legitimate economic efforts of the rural poor, in particular bee farmers and coffee farmers. The man damaged Jamaica. Things got so bad at BOJ that in 1985 on Edward Seaga, a load of crude oil arrived to be offloaded at the Montego Bay terminal, but the captain refused to unload the oil until he received payment from JP government. Mighty God of Daniel. Hart, as a Minister of Tourism and Energy during that time, had to quickly gather up, with the help of the police, US dollars donations from private businessmen in Mobile to pay for the crude oil. You see how Seaga turned Jamaica. What a Jamaica in mud. Drag down Jamaica in the dirt. Pull Jamaica through the gutter. One man do this, you know. Damage our infrastructure. Hey, let me tell you something, man. After a successful effort of the JLP government begging private citizens to pay its oil bill, the BOJ was able to pay the cargo ship captain his money. Oh my, what a disgrace. He unloaded the crude oil and left Jamaica shores. One of the manifestations of the policies of Seaga in the 1980s was the dramatic increase of the flow of people on the streets selling for survival. These were the victims of downsizing and right-sizing programs gleefully pursued by Edward Seaga. The misery index rose exponentially, and in 1989 election, Seaga and JLP lost 45 out of the 60 parliamentary seats, and 4 years later, JLP lost 7 more in the elections after 1993. So Jamaica now understand the reason why PJ Patterson was staying in power for 18 years and why Jamaica Labour Party was in the wilderness. This is a document explained to you all why Jamaica Labour Party was in the wilderness and should have never come out of the wilderness. Jamaica Labour Party is a natural evil to Jamaica. Whenever the People's National Party build it, Jamaica Labour Party break it.
Take it down.
So what we are playing, building up and breaking down politics with the Jamaica Labour Party, and now you put back Andrew Wallace in power and give him third term. Yes, Jamaica, we have it coming. This represents a total of 52 seats within 4 years after being in power for 9 years leading up to the 1989 election. When you look at it, people. When you look at it, I'm not done with it yet, you know, I'm teaching the judgment, you know, people. The ongoing attempt to pass off 1980s as anything but an ugly and painful period for the Jamaican people is tantamount to the GG being given a throne speech to read in 2011 by the JLP government that the economy has fully recovered. I like to put that. Now, watch this now, people. This after the IMF cut the flow of funds from the previous year in June 10, 2010. Now, Bruce Golding, him start to talk about now, you know, people. Because Bruce Golding is from 2007 to 2011. So this again, you know, another JLP mashed down in Jamaica, you know. Hey, look here, this man here speak the truth. This after the IMF cut the flow of funds from the previous year in June 2010. So then cut the funds in 2009 to Jamaica. And the national debt in 2011 was growing by an average of over $10 billion per month. Andrew want to start talk about that. Andrew want to start talk about that. Andrew want to start talk about the destruction that Bruce Golding left. Remember when PJ Patterson handed over the country to Bruce Golding? We were debt free. We paid up IMF. We were debt free. Let me read about this. This after the IMF cut the flow of funds from previous year in June 2010 to Jamaica. And the national debt in 2011 was growing by an average over 10 billion per month. Andrew want to not talk about that. You don't talk about that. But the criminal you are want to even steal Portia Simpson progress. Because you're just a natural thief. You're a natural criminal. Now, this propaganda is taking advantage of the young and educated but indolent section of the population that are frequently and fluently repeating the foolishness. Time has passed, and even the present political practitioners need to be refreshed. That's why I refresh them. As they are only human, equally important, the people need to be refreshed cerebrally. For hearing lies, the importance of staying the course for what can happen is real, for it has happened before. If many people are told the extent to which things can get bad and shown dramatically the painful pathways we have already walked, particularly at the hands of the GLP and Seaga, I believe more will believe, and that is what Andrew Warnes is doing with his campaign of lies, deceit, criminality, and corruption. And I take this away. Stop sharing. Let me go to the panel. Now let me go to the panel. Melting pot.
Melting pot, go and take up get some coffee.
Right. Since melting pot go and take the coffee, Spinks speaks, my sister, speaks the truth.
Okay, there, Uncle Byron. Before I deal with the subject matter, let me remind my Jamaicans and remind you, Uncle Byron, that today, October the 3rd, is the first month anniversary of the marriage between NNN and Amber Group.
We are going to get this.
So Shalman Scott from Montego Bay is the first GLP councillor to become mayor of Montego Bay. The first PNP councillor and the first mayor of Montego Bay was William George Vernon, and he from the PNP family. Unlike the Vernon has here now in the St. James Parish Council as the mayor. He's from the same family, but he is a turncoat from the family because everybody else in the family are PNP. So let me make that notation there. Now, Shalman Scott is confessing, and I would like to know why now. Why you never confessed from way back then and let people know what was happening way back then and change the course of history way back then.
You should have come out earlier.
Thank you. Shalman Scott reminded me of the CIA agent that came out after the Bob Marley died and was murdered already and was confessing what they did to kill Bob Marley. He reminded me of the CIA agent who came out and confessed about the elderly home that was burned down and gave us the details of how it happened.
Yes.
But why they wait until the things years after before they confess? No. One of the things he did not mention was Seaga forgot to pay back Don Crawford, and that contributed to the financial meltdown that happened back then, and that led us to try to solve that problem with FinServ. Now, he also forgot to mention that Edward Seaga was an American citizen and also a CIA operative operating in Jamaica. And he was actually an illegal prime minister, an illegal agent in the prime minister's office. From what you read so far, and from what I can listen so far in that article, Andrew is repeating the same legacy as Seaga.
Exactly.
Because right now, when we look at our public sector workers, right across the board, how many teachers graduate from our colleges here and how many migrate? How many police are trained here and how many migrate? How many firemen are trained here? How many migrate? Think about these things. Right across, nurses train here and then they migrate. Why? Because they are forced to leave because the pay is not good, the pay packages are not good, and they want a comfortable life here, right? Now we look at the fact that they had to gather money, pull out a hat, set on an offering plate to collect US dollars to pay a bill. Look at it. Chinese workers had to protest after 6 months of not getting any pay. Teachers are asking for a raise of pay now and they cannot get it. Firemen want raise of pay. The police are owed their overtime pay. Look at how much debt Andrew has put us in right now. How much workers are not being paid? Yeah, the permanent secretaries are being paid. And right now we have the most expensive break front, GLP break front, because I don't call it cabinet. We right now we have what? Over $700 million. Can we as a Jamaican small island afford to pay these people? So when Mahfoud came out and said one of the solutions is reduction in the salaries, I do agree with him. This does not make any sense. Andrew is running the country into a wreck, and it's going to be worse than the pothole that Seaga put us in years ago. When comrade leader becomes prime minister of this country and the PNP take over governing this country, we're going to have a whole lot of things to solve. Right now in Jamaica, we do not even know how many people are living on this island right now. Years ago, they started to take up a census. That was not even completed because the persons who were taking up the census were not paid their salaries. So you see, even them are still owed money from years ago. 4 years now, police cannot collect their overtime pay. Firemen want raise of pay. Nurses want raise of pay. Where's the money to come from? Right now, we have a $14 billion deficit at Cornwall Regional Hospital, and the Chinese workers have not been paid for the past 6 months. Andrew owes a lot of money, yet he's collecting a big fat salary himself as well as the permanent secretary of every ministry. We are paying what? Rent for building, empty buildings, because it's owned by their friends or other members of parliament. Look at what they're doing. Urban centers in St. Thomas, open, unfinished. Ribbon cutting, pretending Hollywood movies they're making is ribbon cutting. Stoplight, ribbon cutting. Garbage pan, ribbon cutting. Fixing a sidewalk, ribbon cutting. Promising us water in pipes. Dry. Dig, dig a ditch, put a pipe in it, no water. Installing 1 inch pipe and attach the pipe to a tank and say, oh, water is turning on in the community. Hollywood acting again and again and again just to win an election, to come back in to do what? I am tired of them and their pretentious attitude toward our Jamaican people. They're just pretending to be a good government. It's all Hollywood tricks, all Hollywood tricks, all Hollywood lies. Andrew's government is similar to Seaga's government. Same playbook, no difference. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right, now melting pot. Now step up on the platform. How you doing?
Yeah, this Stalman Scott report, really bring back a lot of memories to me. I lived through that period, yeah, from the 80s, come on. I know everything that went on. I know all about the Edward Seaga-led government and what it stand for and what it brought to Jamaica. Now we all know Edward Seaga, as an American, was aligned to the CIA
Hmm.
under Ronald Reagan time. And, him even trick Ronald Reagan. That's why Ronald Reagan and him fall out. I never give them the promise, never fulfill
Yes.
it. Yeah. So even him own agency where I'm affiliated to, him condemn. Okay? But when you look back on, the GDP that him took over from Michael Manley, 1980, a GDP of 63%. And by 1989, yeah, it climbed to 262%. That just show you how much damage this one man done in a short period of time.
Exactly.
You know?
Serious
And I
damage to
mean,
Jamaica.
yes, Jamaica don't recover from that. I know
No.
Jamaica can
Even
recover.
now. Even now.
Even no. At one point in time, the People's National Party and Patterson stabilized Jamaica to a point where we were debt free. But no, soon
Yeah.
after the GLP came in, we gone
Mash
back to
it up again.
IMF and we mash up again. We all know about, the mass amount of people who became unemployed by Edward Seaga. Literally closed down a lot of operation. School, clinic, downside a lot of hospital, yeah. Workplace like GOS, decommissioned that, and a lot of factories as it related to the sugar industry. That sector was dealt a heavy blow as well.
Oh,
And so everything started to go downward under Edward Seaga from in the 80s. Yeah. Now that report state clearly that David Rockefeller, came to Jamaica and wanted to, do a similar model to Singapore with Jamaica. But after 5 months, he have to leave. Because when
See,
him
I
say
gonna
I
go
go
on.
on, him
But
couldn't, him,
Melting Pot, that goes to show you that Siaga didn't want to develop the country, because the man came
no,
yeah.
to wicked, vicious. Sorry
yeah.
to cut you, Melting
But,
Pot.
but it show you say him never developed the country either.
Yeah.
Because we know him have the country from 1983 to 1989. Him alone run the place. 60 member of parliament and 21 senator. Yeah, but nothing no done.
Not
I
no done.
close. I lock down the country rather than build the country. No, you
Right.
can't. You cannot believe that. Yeah, a man would have a country where him alone have the money I spend. But rather than look on areas and identify things to done, him lock down the place instead. People lose them job. So Iglarin now take over Jamaica. So Iglarin rise up. Everybody have to hustle. Bag juice, paper bag, all type of thing. Everybody turn to street hustling. under Edward Seaga regime. Yeah. We look on Exxon now. Yeah. A oil company. And them have to pull out. It's bad. Very bad. And so we know that Big Mama and all who blog for the Labour Party cannot identify anything out of this document because they would be ashamed. So what them do now, them just catch and capture them little young youth that were born long after that period there. Yeah. And just teach them the new JLP, but it's still a bad JLP. Because everything that come from around the Jamaica Labour Party is always lie, them telling you. So if the new administrative side of the Jamaica Labour Party has not been told to the people in a truthful manner, them still lie upon it. Because all you would find that now corruption and scamming and all type of thing. Yeah. When Andrew Wallace come out and say him have 250, project where him oversee then our commission. Lie. There's nothing where him do. Andrew Wallace period is just like Edward Thiago dominance for 6 years. Have all of the seat them, but not do nothing. Andrew not really do nothing either. As the things rightfully saying, just go around and waste money, ribbon cutting. And we don't know, we never see none of them things happening under other administration. Things done and people know say it done and it work and you have a little normal opening ceremony, but you know have this big fanfare ribbon cutting because have millions of dollars to waste on that, Yeah. And I don't know what him think him could achieve from that when the people must struggle. Going back to the cruise ship. The ship come with the crude oil. Yeah, Montego Bay. And the captain would not release it until him get paid. That wouldn't happen under the PMP administration,
Worthless.
And then between the period of 1980 to 1983, he missed 4 consecutive IMF agreements. But and you see Andrew them and Bruce come back and do the same thing. They miss 14. But then them talk about fiscal discipline. Say them are the father for fiscal discipline. We know them are the father for fiscal indiscipline.
Exactly.
You understand? Because there's so much here that we can't even, go through. Yeah? Because the period of 1983 to 1989, yeah? Over 1980 to 1989, over a 9-year period, you see an increase of 315%, in the GDP, No, people can't manage that. That's a madness. When your GDP at 315% increase, yeah, over a 9-year period, or you survive, or the country survive. But Seaga was there only robbing the country, we know that. Yeah. As a one done, nobody can talk to him. And so him rightfully start destroy the people in life because him have the place like that, Remember him introduced gun in Jamaica. That period of time when Seaga was in, that's when gun flood the island. Because Seaga have a gang in New York was sending him gun regular, the shower posse. Yeah. Because that gang leave Jamaica, Right? And going to America in 1980 and the back of the election, And in no time it's havoc all over America. And the guns them start coming more regular now. So the headquarters built on West Kingston where Seaga did one at the time, Tivoli Garden. And them control Jamaica. So Jamaica is under siege, basically. Yeah. And the country recover from crime, corruption, and thievery. That period of time, Edward Seaga set that trend. Now we are seeing Andrew Holness replicating the same trend. Yeah, we see gun, we see corruption, and we see thievery. And where Andrew had on it now is more drugs, pan top of more drugs, pan top of more drugs are coming out of the place. Yeah. So Seaga kill out with ganja at the time. And also damage with lacatan banana, with coffee, with pimento, with coconut, the native coconut, at a period of time there, you know. When I use the Black Hawk helicopter and spray the place, kill out them thing there, you know. We don't know lacatan, no gross Mitchell and them thing there again. That is down to Edward Seaga. I remember the land itself suffer from that because it was a dosing of chemical on a daily basis. Just flying over and spray the place with this thing. And a lot of people suffer from that. Yeah, in terms of bad health conditions start to take with people. So Seaga carry out a mass murder not only upon the agriculture sector, but upon people life as well. But you never hear Big Mama them talk about that. I want if them don't know the history. But Big Mama should have know. Draws Davis no must know, because Draws Davis is a little pistol boy. So him not really gonna know nothing. You understand? But Big Mama should have know and teach them. Andrew should have know. Because in the round Eddie Seaga. So Andrew do even, you know, increase the knowledge and support base. Because I'm lying to them, you know. That's why them don't know these things. But we know it's one party build the country, which is the People's National Party, and one party mash up the country, which is the Jamaica Labour Party. And we are seeing the same thing happening now. And that's why them use that same system there, mash up the country, and through them know the people them is so impatient. Within 4 year time, them can't say, boy, the government, the PMP government not doing nothing, but them leave the country in such a state that good government now try to build it back. And it take time to build back. This is why them come out and pressure Mama P, you know. Because Mama P take the country on its knee. And she'd have to stabilize a lot of things, the same thing where I say. Him at the daddy for a Portia and Peter Phillips at the daddy for fiscal discipline in a Jamaica, and you claim it. Right? And them run for it and mash up Mama P campaign. And through the Jamaican youth them at the time, them now no head space. Them listen Andrew. And we know it was pure lie. Andrew I tell them. And them overthrow Mama P. Yeah? And what happened? We see where Jamaica is right now. We see where Jamaica is right now, you know. Because them get the dollar at 121, you know, and the dollar they are 160 plus now. Now when you look on that, that is a big deficit in the food bill we want to have to put on the table. Just look at that and several more things. The beach them gone all the time. Hey, Labour right now stop mash up Jamaican people, man. Just look on the beach. All that them take off on the table for the people. Them not leave nothing. So we know it's one party bill and one party mash up. And me glad Shalman Scott as a true Jamaica Labour Party supporter, yeah, can come out and put out a report like this to educate the people then, because the history must be told, you know. You cannot hide the history. The history must be told.
That's what
What went on under the Jamaica Labour Party must not be hidden from the young Jamaica Labour Party supporters or from the country at large, the younger people who come up now, who wasn't around that time. You understand? Because this is how you can judge government and the performance. Because you can look back on the past and mirror it with the present. And what we see now reflect the image of Seaga time in the 80s. And I yield back the floor.
All right. Now that was melting pot. Now, Jamaica, when I say that the truth is revealing, I want you to hear another telltale truth. Come and make sure someone done a proper research enough. Come out and inform my people. You know. Jamaica, watch this. Look where we are going right now. let me just get up this, right? Now, let us get into this again. Me come on for them tonight, you know. Me prepare and come on for them tonight, you know. Now, here it is. John Jr. Get the record straight on PJ Patterson's legacy. For all those who tell a lie about 18 years and this and that and rare, blah, blah, blah. PJ Patterson, right, had taken Jamaica out of debt from the IMF and done many more. Now let us get into that. Here is John Jr., September 25th, 2025. That means I just right around the same a couple of days back. John Jr. is coming out, right, speaking the truth, telling Jamaica people. Wesley Morris, September 7th article on former Prime Minister PJ Patterson tenure reads less like serious political analysis. His surgical cherry picking of the 1992 to 1995 period is a masterclass in what Durrell Off immortalized as how to lie with statistics. Now listen to this. When pundits resort to myopic 3-year snapshot to indict transformational leadership, they expose more about their methodology than their target. Under Patterson stewardship, there was a massive increase in Jamaica's per capita GDP between 1992 and 2006, as the World Bank data showed. We back that over for the people. Under Patterson stewardship, there was a massive increase in Jamaica per capita GDP between 1992 and 2006, as the World Bank data showed, as it relates to product and services. This wasn't economic sleet of hand benefiting only the privileged few. The IMF itself acknowledged that income inequality actually compressed during the PNP. I wonder if you get that. The IMF itself acknowledged that income inequality actually compressed under the PNP. Right? Now, under the PNP administration, with the Gini coefficient shrinking from 0.56 to 0.46, even the archest critics were forced to admit the vast improvement on the quality of life in Jamaica. Look, we talk to them, the people. We have the history. The poverty level was chopped from 28.4% in 1990 to 9.9% by 2007. You see why Andrew wants us to lie? Because he must compete with Femline, who chop poverty from 18% to 9%. You understand? This look like out of PJ Patterson book. Him thief that. Now hear this. The poverty level was chopped from 28.4% in 1990 to 9.9% by 2007. Now, remember, you know, make me talk a little bit about these people, because I want to teach the people about it. Remember, say Bruce Golding took over 2007. You know. Bruce Golding took over from PJ Patterson 2007. So when we said that PJ Patterson said bye-bye to IMF, tata to IMF, you can see why as it relates to how well PJ Patterson had managed the country. That now make to understand as to why PJ Patterson was given 3 terms. Because the first term, right, PJ Patterson had done well, right? Because remember, that Michael Manley fell sick, right? And have to hand over power to PJ Patterson, right? Because after Edward Seaga mashed up the country, right? We could teach history now. Hold on, people. Let's go into the history. Remember from 1983 to 1989, Seaga single-handedly wrecked Jamaica, right? Damaged the hospitals and all one can damage. And remember, while he was doing it, he has 60 members of parliament and 21 senators, but could not perform. And because of what he had done, Jamaican people vote him out. And that they only voted him out, They put him into the political wilderness for 18 years. So when Michael Manley took over, Michael Manley fell sick, handed over to PJ, and PJ carried on. PJ performance was so good, so solid, that here it is, evidence, the poverty level was chopped from 28.4% in 1990 to 9.9% by 2007. This man took a clean slate and hand it to Bruce Golding. Clean slate and hand it to Bruce Golding. What Bruce Golding did? Damage it. Mash it up. Portia Simpson came in, fixed it, and gave a clean slate to Andrew Holness. What Andrew Holness did?
Mash it up.
Wreck it up. Corrupt it. Now, I'm glad I give a background. Now, these aren't statistical mirages. They represent thousands of Jamaican families yanked from destitution while Morris was pinning his historical fiction, while he was telling his lies. The most devastating torpedo to Morris' thesis comes not from economists, but from people themselves. The electoral laws and system were repeatedly improved so that the people could deliver their verdict on the solid achievement in 1993, 1997, and 2002. Each time they thundered back with electoral mandates that were unprecedented, keeping PJ Patterson in power. That was how PJ Patterson was well loved. Reflecting the transformation of Jamaica's electoral culture from one plagued by political violence to one where democratic continuity flourished and the gains in their living standards. Come to teach them now. The Patterson administration reduced the high incidence of political violence to almost negligible levels, creating the peaceful democratic space that made genuine choice possible. Oppressed populations do not genuflect before their oppressors at the ballot box in free and fair elections. When you see what happened in this general election, you're culprit. They choose leaders who transform their lived reality, not someone who trick them every day. Morris' presumption to ignore the democratic wisdom of the Jamaican people betrays the arrogance underlying his entire diatribe. The authentic Patterson legacy soars far beyond Morris' tunnel vision economics. Mr. Patterson dismantled Jamaica's feudal land ownership through Operation Pride and the Emancipation Lands Project, seismic structural upheavals that shattered centuries of colonial calcification. The national land policy and facilitation in the issue of land titles. His administration produced real, not bureaucratic window dressing. It was an earthquake that sought to topple the structural apartheid inherited from slavery and colonialism. Let us look at some of the achievements not mentioned in Morris' article. The airport and the seaport modernization, the North Coast Highway and Highway 2000 programs, the National Health Fund, the resurrection of National Youth Service after 12 years hiatus, the information technology, right, metaphors, the PATH program, the Chase Fund, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, the Universal Access Fund. They are architectural blueprints for Jamaica's human and economic development. Patterson's housing revelation merits special recognition through innovation choreography with trade union, sugar industry, housing limited, and Jamalco. His administration orchestrated enormous housing solutions island-wide, doubling the construction of houses in Portmore alone. This wasn't political luggage. It was systemic change that embedded ordinary Jamaicans into their nation's prosperity foundation. Patterson masterfully navigated Jamaica exodus, formal IMF bondage. Now, I can read that over with pleasure and grace. Patterson masterfully navigated Jamaica's exodus from formal IMF bondage by 1995, which entailed the successful passing of 13 consecutive quarterly tests. While we see them fail in a Seaga and tumble over in a Bruce Golden. Jamaica had no option but to undertake structural adjustment. Patterson's administration sought to cushion the trauma through the very partnership and programs Morris carelessly dismisses. The contrast illuminates everything. Patterson served Jamaica's dependency chains while simultaneously constructing the social safety architecture that shielded the vulnerable during transition. Before he retired, Jamaica had been restored to a footing where it became acceptable in the capital markets. The institution he created to ensure adequate oversight of financial entities and protect depositors and policy holders remain in place so that Portia Simpson Miller and Peter Phillips could perform resurrection surgery to the shattered economy they face in 2012 and their return to governance. Let us go to the panel. Tell us your problem tonight. Run, come on to the history. I'm proud to do so. Now, Melting Pot, kick this away, sir.
Yeah. No, this just show you why PJ Patterson, spent 3 terms as Prime Minister. PJ Patterson presided over a very successful period in a Jamaica development, And I mean, it's true. Taking poverty down from 28.4% in 1990, to 9% by 2007. That was a great accomplishment. Because, I mean, poverty, is a very bad thing in our society. Because your workforce are weak if them hungry. Right? So that was a great achievement. Now, him bring back the bus. Him start out the telecommunication. School, him build a whole heap of school. We know about the Highway 2000 and, the North Coast leg. We know about Operation Pride, National Health Fund. Him build housing till it look bad. Yeah? And what that do? That create a lot of job for the young youth them. That's why crime did down to a minimal percentage. So it show you say everything under PMP at the time, led by PJ Patterson, was in full swing. The country benefit immensely. Yeah, infrastructure go up. Whole heap of infrastructure. Because even bringing back JUTC, you know, is a whole heap of people that employ, you know, right there and then, you know. From administrative staff to mechanics to drivers and conductors. You understand? And the building out of the country as it relates to housing, school, and all these things. The construction was thriving at the time.
Yeah, melting
So,
pot. Hold on a melting pot. You hear what Seaga McCarthy said? In Andrew Holness' mind, the country has disrespected him, and they shall pay at this point. He cares nothing about life or death, only his own. And that is so true, what CJ McCarthy said. And that's why he still the election, because he know that the Jamaican people don't love him. And that is why he's so tough on the Jamaican people. Continue, melting pot.
yeah, and that is true, because we recognize that as well. So, you know, big up Carter for that. Yeah. And, you know, PJ Patterson as a prime minister demonstrate leadership. Yeah. And not just only in fiscal discipline, but in social development. Yeah. But just look at the side of fiscal discipline. The man restored back Jamaica to a debt-free society. And so now everything now, you know, I breathe life again, you know. Because you as a person, if you don't want nobody, you feel good in yourself, you know. More than when you know say you have a debt to pay. So Patterson now could have used the resource them have to build out the infrastructure, privatize the telecommunication system, and one other aspect to that, a whole heap of radio station rise up in that Patterson time. Because, you know, in free market the thing now, yet now just centered around JBC and RJR anymore. Yeah. It get expand. You could have get a license for going at broadcasting and privatize out that. You understand? And every sector, as me say, has thrive. Life return back to the country. Yeah. I remember, you know, I just a couple of years before that, Eddie Seaga mash up the place. Yeah. Bring it back to a state where it's unrecognizable. When crude oil come in your country and you have to take up money to pay a fee, or as a captain, nah, drop it off, you know that bad. But look where the man take the country from a high poverty rate of 28.4 to a low poverty rate in 2007, 9%. And so Patterson period must be celebrated, yeah, with high accolade as one of the hardest working prime minister in Jamaica, because Patterson put in more things than Andrew Holness, Bruce Golding, and Edward Seaga combined together. Them three prime ministers that you can put for them thing in a one, you know, and measure up to Patterson alone for them own. Because them not do nothing. They mash up the place. Because Bruce Golding get a debt-free country, you know, and ranch it up. And when Mama P get it by 2011, it flat on its knee. So just look from 95 to 2011. I remember when Patterson clear up the debt 1995, him never did hand over the country right away, you know. Yeah. So just put it say go up to about 2000 the country finance balance. By within an 11-year period, Jamaica now have nothing again. It mashed up under Bruce Golding and Andrew Holness administration. The two of them was around at the time. And Mama P have to crawl upon her knees. So Jamaica people have to understand say it's one party care for Jamaican. One party. The Labour Party does not care for the people in the country. If they did, we would see the work. We don't see no work what them do. Them ongo claim people project and tell lie to the young voters them who have no idea or no experience at the time that passed by the history of the country. When we come here so and try to teach them, them need to listen and understand so we not tell them no lie. Because here are the evidence to prove Andrew Wallace scam reduce property, you know. Andrew Wallace increase property. And when you hear Andrew Wallace talk about unemployment down, no, unemployment rise under Andrew Wallace. When you hear Andrew Wallace talk about the country better off in terms of where we are in our GDP capacity, no, we in a recession. Everything Andrew tell we a lie. Because Andrew waste money and steal money. Andrew will do things to make it look like him a do something, not doing nothing, cutting ribbon down, do nothing. Patching road is not building road. You understand? Call center job is an employment that the kind of come with statutory, you know, remuneration for when you retire, you get nothing from it. You not get nothing from call center job. It's a slave mentality job that. But look on what PMP do under PJ Patterson and Mama P. You get real job. You get permanent job at JUTC. Yeah. You as a mason and a builder. You work with around all of them houses that we have built. Thousands of them. Yeah. Whole heap of school bill. Road a bill. I remember them time that Jamaican used to work on the road. Along with the Chinese people them. Not like now. Not like now. So we have to just appreciate the period where PJ Patterson served. And this is why I'm served so long. And this is why I have so much accomplishment to offer and show to Jamaican where I'm doing in time. And I yield back the floor.
Blessings for that. No, right on the valley. Lady Spinks. Right.
Sorry. Sorry. Thank you, Uncle Byron. I'm happy tonight to did these two topics because these two articles, because guess what? We got to go down history and compare the two history
Yeah,
side by side.
exactly.
First with the Shalman Scott history, and now with this article from our John Jr. So we
Yeah,
compare PJ and Seaga's history, and it is complete opposite of each other. Seaga wants us weak, PJ wants us strong. Seaga wants us dependent, PJ
yes,
wants us independent. Seaga gave us no future, PJ gave us a future. Seaga wants us sick, PJ wants us healthy. Tiago wants us uneducated and dunce, and PJ wants us educated because I am thankful for PJ to convert and
yeah,
upgrade cars into UTech. Thank you, PJ Patterson, for that. PJ Tiago wants us financially insecure while PJ wants us financially secure. Tiago is uncaring, PJ care for us. Tiago wants us to shrink, PJ wants us to expand. PJ wants to give us death, the crime. PJ wants us to live free of crime. PJ shows hate in his speeches and everything like that on all the platforms that he went on. Siaga gave us showed us hate on many platforms and many of his speeches. PJ shows love. Siaga demolish, PJ build. Siaga owe and kept us in debt while PJ pay our debt and try to keep us out of debt. Tiago failed IMF test and PJ passed IMF test. And I yield the floor to you.
All right. Where do we go from here? Thank you, Sister Spinks. We're going to turn up the floor again because, you know, as it relates to to show you the hypocriticalness of the Prime Minister. And so then he wants to show Jamaica, right, that he's a man of class. But majority of us know that he's a despicable man. And so then in his swearing ceremony, this is how hypocritical he is. Inviting Mark Golden to join in partnership with him. Because, of course, as according to him, they have unfinished work to do as it relates to the Constitution. But this is the reason why Mark Golden is the only politician that has passed most legislations. People need to understand that. Because of Mark Golden's prudency. But Mark Golden knows the hypocrite he is. Mark Golden classically, strategically take him to class. Look at this people. Mark Golden take him to class to show him up that he is a hypocrite. Right? Now, let us get into the first document to show the hypocrite he is. Right? Let us get into that. All right. Now, people, listen up. Are you seeing it?
Yes, we are seeing it.
Melton, put you good?
Increase the funny light now.
Okay, let me increase the font. Let me increase the font. Okay. How is it now, Pat?
Yeah, a little bit better.
All right. So as I said, Mark Golden had done a class strokes play. Make sure that, okay, since he called out and act as if, okay, he's someone stretching a hand to Mark Golden and he's into the thing for peace. Everybody knows you're corruption, Anjo. Everybody knows you're all hypocrite. But this is how classical Mark Golden is. Now, here it is. On October 3rd, 2025, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Office of the Prime Minister, Jamaica House, Kingston 10. Dear Mr. Holness, I write in reply to your letter of 30th of September 2025. I wish to state at the outset that it is my heartfelt desire that we complete our unfinished circle of independence by establishing Jamaica's full sovereignty as you promise, as you made mention of in your swearing. Now, this means leaving both the British monarch as head of state and the British monarch Privy Council as the final court of appeal, and in a manner that our constitution no longer originates from an order in council of the British monarch. At your recent swearing-in ceremony at King's House, this is how Mark Golden is now. Take him to court now. Take him now to have him. You understand? Prove himself to the people, because Mark Golden knows how I'm big old dirty hypocrite. You know? You think me I mince my word tonight? Me not mince my word tonight. Mark Golden knows how I'm big old dirty hypocrite this. So this is what Mark Golden now is saying now. At your recent swearing ceremony at King's House, you said words to the effect, open quote, you're the big old dirty hypocrite. Mark, let us partner together to complete the work we started in making Jamaica a republic. You know what the dirty hypocrite do? After him said that, in first day of parliament, him put his wife and the speaker's chair. Big old dirty hypocrite. Him know say Mark Golden is going to oppose that. So a war him declare on his first day. We have go through the letter now. War he declared on his first day. But look how Mark Golden, masterclass, king chess player. Mark Golden is playing the chess and leading. Now watch this now. I welcome those words as they are consistent with the reality that the government does not now have a 2/3 majority. Mark Golden, I tell him to, you know. Say your power cut. Your power cut, boy. Now that, not now, have a 2/3 majority in either house of parliament. You don't have it. In the lower house. You don't have it. In
the upper house.
So Mark Golden just give him king checking. A crown Mark Golden crown king right just saying. Further, reinforcing the imperative, the importance of partnership between Jamaica's two major political parties if progress is to be made in reforming the constitution. I accept the only route to reaping success in this reform effort is through authentic collaboration, because Mark Golden knows how one old trickster, a con artist. So Mark Golden, I tell him, say, the reform effort is through authentic, no PR, no con business,
No Hollywood studs.
authentic collaboration, as demonstrated by former political leaders. Mark Golden, I give him reference to, you know, of history. For example, not only reference, you know, example now. In opening the debate on the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms in 2010, the Prime Minister Bruce Golden outlined the imperative or the importance of partnering together in the reform process. Now, since the Constitution requires it, similarly, on December 2nd, Mark Golden give history now, you know, 2021, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson wrote to you and I saying that the solution to constitutional reform requires unity of purpose and action transcending partisan borders. That means we must put out the partisan politics and take on a bipartisan approach. This approach also accords with Jamaica's democratic tradition. History shows that in transition from colonial status to political independence, there was constant interaction between N.W. Manley and Sir Alexander Bustamante, as there was between P.J. Patterson and Edward Seaga during the seminal constitutional reform undertaking of the 1990s. Now, let me go into the next document for the people. Because we don't play now. Right? Me say we don't play. So let me go in the next document for the people. Let me go now. What happened? Mark Golden take him to task. Took him to task. Right? Yes. Comrade leader now play with him, man. Comrade leader is not playing. Right? No need to play with him. Okay, that's the same one. No need to play with him. Comrade leader not playing with him. Comrade leader take him to task and shame him. Yes. Let us finish up. Now here it is, people. Accordingly, it is you and I, as the leader of the Jamaica's two major political parties, who must establish a basis for the required partnership as it relates to history and as it relates to standard operating procedures, and that is related to what is custom, right? What is norms? If the reform process is not to become another exercise in futility, and Margolin knows that this way to go. Therefore, and in furtherance of your express aspiration of partnership quoted above, I was expecting an invitation to meet with you to discuss the way forward as a first step. However, in your letter, on the reply, you have proposed that I meet with the Minister of Justice. When you see how him feisty, when you see how him they try to undermine the opposition, which him can't undermine the opposition. You know. I shame him, you know. Them say shame the Lord, but it broke neck.
Yeah.
Shame the Lord, but it broke neck. With respect, Prime Minister, that approach will not initiate the required partnership of which we speak. No, Mark Golding now, they tell him say that not go happen, you know. Because your 2/3 power gone, you know. So you have to come and make we sit at the table and let us show the people as it relates to what you spoke about in your swearing ceremony, where you talk about consultative government. Show the people the hypocrite you are. This is what my goal and bring out, you know. I therefore invite you to reconsider the matter in light of what I am suggesting in this letter, and look forward to hearing from you presently. Given that your embrace of partnership, boy, my goal in a rubber tea now. Given that your embrace of partnership was expressed in a public speech, I will be making this letter public as my response to that exhortation. Hey, you think you can manage my goal? Can't manage what? Eh? You think you can manage, boss? My goal and take him to task. My goal and say, since you're out there and you make public statement, I want to show the public with the liar than your corrupted self that you're seeking consultative government and you want to work together. My goal is make sure you respond and say, come now, I am ready. I am ready for you to work together. Now him can't step up to the plate in a call, dirty hypocrite. He must send him right to the Justice Minister. What can go so? Melting Pot take the lead. What can go so?
Well, Andrew a con artist, you know. Everybody know that. Because Andrew just like to make a speech where, you know, propel him on the day. But after the speech, back to normality. Now we all know and we hear him, you know, extend him arm to Marky G at him swearing in ceremony that he would like for both of them to, you know, come in partnership, you know, or in collaboration as it relates to unfinished business surrounding Jamaica becoming a Republican state. Okay, fair enough. All right. Even though me not think Mark Golding should have really engage a man like that in such a sensitive issue. Because he's just a criminal. Him not supposed to be, you know, mentioned as the man where help to change Jamaica. Him not deserve that accolade. Yeah.
But what I meant in part. Remember, you know, because he's hypocritical, Mark Golding set out certain things, right, that he will definitely on those basis that they will work together on those constitutional reforms.
Yeah, Mark Golding lay out certain card, yes. Yeah, I know that. Mark Golding lay out certain card. Yeah, but even though what me I say, Andrew, I know the man, yeah, to get them type of accolade there. Because I'm criminality and them lives. Yeah, you don't really want them man to have them thing upon them CV. It have mention as him being a part of the process. Yeah,
It now go on
Jamaica
his
can't wait.
CV.
Him a go want it pan them man, him take everything man. Him them form a part-time legacy man, I'm CV same way. You talk about legacy, you know.
Mm.
So when we look on now, all right, Mark Wallen reply, yeah, on the 3rd of October to film request in September. But
Yes.
Mark Wallen no get no answer back from him. Yeah. Mark Wallen no get no answer. And when Mark do get one little answer after pressing him say Mark forgot to talk to the Justice Minister, who Delroy Chuck, the madman. Delroy Chuck a garbage, Mark no talk to garbage Chuck.
No, who's the right Chuck?
Delroy Chuck now run the country. And remember, Delroy Chuck never make no request to Marky G. Andrew make the request. And here is Mark Wallen now.
Head.
Exactly.
Head.
Right.
Both political heads need to go there.
About political head to meet. They want to undermine Marky G for Mark to talk to Delroy garbage truck. No, that's not around here. You understand? You ask for Mark Wallen to come in partnership with you to finish the unfinished business of making Jamaica become a Republican state. So you should have followed suit. You, Mr. Nasty Andrew. But you want to send the man to go talk to garbage Chuck. Chuck now have nothing to do with this man of other state. But Andrew hide, you know. Because Andrew can't look for Marky G, you know. Because every time he look for Marky G, he knows some Marky G has said to him, say, you thief the election. You understand? So Andrew been hiding from Parliament. Twice now him not turn up to Parliament. Yeah. And we know say that man was uncomfortable in the job. Yeah. And I think him should have just do the honorable thing and just walk away from the prime ministerial role. Yeah. Because when him bring back size 13 in the hot seat, yeah, as the speaker of the house, that is problem for Marky G, because Marky G tell you say she not supposed to be the speaker for the house. The PMP is not comfortable with size 13 in that seat. But what Andrew do? As usual, dictatorship come in. Man can't advise him, can't say nothing to him, put her in there. So we know Marky G are rub it in him now. And I can hear Marky G say, based on the fact that you make the request publicly, I am going to make my letter publicly.
Exactly.
So what Andrew do? Andrew hide. And that is why I said through the corruption of Andrew, him not to be the man where Marky G partnership with to change the thing. Because we know say the right thing, yes. Because we would have become a one sovereign nation with the one sovereign law. And we case them now to go all the way to Privy Council. Them can't stop in the CCJ, carry and court of justice, which is easier accessible to Jamaican than coming all the way to London at Privy Council. So we want that, yeah, because it gives you control of our own destiny. It's not in the hands of the monarchy no more, where we law is concerned and all these things. But is Andrew ready for this? No, because this is a very sensitive part of Jamaica history, you know. And you can't use a thief and a criminal to preside over that. You want two clean man at the table sit down and negotiate. Because Andrew want certain things in the way we know unlawful. That's how the guy operate. Yeah, so me never in favor of Marky G chat to Andrew on that subject, yeah. Because Andrew not credible, you know. Yeah, we want two credible leader, man. Yeah, I mean, I think them can't find none over there, so, either. So, right now, you know, so this end up as a stalemate. Because Marky G now go talk to Chuck. No, Chuck cannot head a state. No. It must be the prime minister and the leader of the opposition who sit around a table and go through the negotiation process to change the country from a Commonwealth to a Republican state. So kudos to your Marky G. Well done. And I like the way, oh yeah, rub it in him. Because everybody can know say Yeah, everybody knows that Marky G respond to him request at him swearing in ceremony when say it was just a fanfare thing him a go on with that the day. Yeah, cause I'm going that's why I'm bring the artists them there, to entertain the people them. Cause what Andrew that do was entertaining everybody, him supporters and the people them were swearing and the dignitary group. That's all he was doing. Because I was guilty as the damn born for stealing the election on the 3rd of September. And you could have seen it from them face and size 13 face and one of them from around at the JLP. Everybody was in a gloomy state. Even Flight Green. Even Bushrat hide way around the backside of Cougar. You see, them never happy. So everybody knows that Andrew was merely putting on a show. Yeah? But not feeling emotionally happy about being re-elected for a 3rd term. Yeah, so Marky G know a rubber team. So everybody knows that Marky G respond to him. And what him do? Him double down. Him should have respond back to the man and say, set a date. But him can't do that, him a rep at man to truck. I'll back the floor.
All right. Blessings for that, melting pot. All right. Now let us bring in Lady Spinks. Squeeze in.
Yes, thank you again, Uncle Byron. You see,
Blessings.
what happened, is that Andrew still have this colonial mindset,
Exactly.
and he will not change. Leopard never changed their spots. Andrew cannot change. Not even if John the Baptist get up tomorrow and baptize Andrew will not change.
That's why I'm gone so
You
bad.
see, yeah, he's beyond change.
All right.
You see what happened, is that Andrew swore allegiance to the monarch when he became a member of the Privy Council. Andrew does not want to give that up because when they were trying to write the application to make us a republic and make the changes to make us a republic, what did they do? What they did was to make it harder for politicians to be held accountable for their actions and at the same time give us Jamaicans less rights in our country. And that is why Mark G could not sign off on what they were doing. And that is why everything paused. Many Jamaicans didn't understand it was a farce. It was an illusion, a Hollywood stunt, a Hollywood trick again that they were doing when they were going around talking about town hall meeting and rewriting the constitution to change us into a republic and how Marky G don't want to sign off on it because they want to keep us under the British. It is not Marky G who was trying to keep us under the British government. It was them. It was them trying to keep us under their thumb and make it write the laws so politicians have ultimate powers in this country. And Marky G stood up and said, no, what you're doing is wrong. The people should have the power and not the politician. No, Andrew is ashamed. It's like
Shame.
because it's just like how Adam and Eve were ashamed in the garden after they commit the sin and hiding from God. Andrew is hiding from Marky G. He cannot look in Marky G's eyes across any table. He cannot look in Marky G's eyes because guess what happened? Mark is an honest man, a man with integrity. And dishonest people cannot look in honest people's eyes. They have to try and hide. Try and remember, as Melching Pot said, he has been hiding from Parliament for the past couple of weeks. Remember last year when the IC report was to be tabled and was tabled, what happened? He went off to India. He was not scheduled to go to India. It was not on his timetable to go to India. It was for
Thanks.
Kamina Johnson to go pay that trip to India.
Hold
And
on
he
there.
tried to
Spinks.
avoid it.
Spinks, hold on there. There's a pattern with Andrew honest
Well,
whenever the IC report to table, him seems to take away himself. You notice that pattern?
yes, I'm going to the bathroom. Sometimes himself or his wife is missing from out of parliament. It's a pattern for true. No, we know that Mark is a gentleman. Mark is a diplomat. Mark is a statesman. And all this letter proves is that how Mark is doing the righteous thing for Jamaica. He's standing up for us and holding Andrew accountable for the words that he spoke on that day at that hearing in circus. That is what Mark Golden is doing right now. He's holding Andrew accountable for the words that came out of his own lips. Mark is the first person I see was held and is trying to hold Andrew accountable for his own words. And I agree with Mark Golden 100%. We want no more Hollywood stunts from Andrew Williams. We're tired of it. Tired of the Hollywood stunts. And Mark Golden, I like how you use that letter and you rub it in, like how you rub it in, seasoning the chicken for Sunday dinner and you marinate it overnight. I love how you're doing that because those words must soak in soul. Because I'm sure Andrew don't even have a soul right now. The way he's so evil right now. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right, because we're going to touch some serious things I know, you know. Now, people, let me speak this. Now, we realize that Andrew Holness administration has been following Donald Trump administration and every policy position that Donald Trump want Andrew Holness to support. Let me give you a reminder, people. You remember the same situation that arises where Donald Trump, right, caused Andrew to go against Venezuela when we have a good oil deal with Venezuela, right? The Petro-Carib oil deal. Andrew Holness sided with Donald Trump, and we had lost that. We had lost that, luxurious oil deal that we have. Now watch this. We have seen that he went to the UN and then basically take the same policy position with the United States in support of Israel. No two way about that. Whatever little thing you might meet out to the Palestine, right? That is just icing he's trying to put on the cake. But we know where his policy position lies. What am I going? When you look at people, look how Andrew Holness administration cause as it relates to following the policy of the United States to damage our healthcare. You know, watch this now, people. Look where I'm going. Look here, people. It seems like tough time, do remember? Seems like tough time. That's what they do, you know. Believe that, okay, it's a 90 attack. So it fell over them head now. Now, here it is.
At Wayfair, we bring style to every get-together. We brought wings.
You mean these wingback chairs? Dive in, everyone. We brought plenty.
We brought...
Wow. So you mean to tell me that the United States of America actually dictates what goes on in Jamaica? Welcome back to SoFlo TV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Listen, family, I don't fluff the news. I just bring it to you just as it is, and we get into the facts as they are laid out. I might put my personal opinion in there, but that's for later.
Let me say big up to Slow Food TV for people who know Slow Food, right? Can go over and subscribe to him. You understand? It's his material, so kudos to him. Big up yourself, Slow Food.
So this article first was printed in Jamaica that says Jamaica is now to look to the Philippines, India, Nigeria, and other places for doctors after the U.S. visa rules restrict Cuban doctors. So I thought, why would U.S. visa rules restrict Cuban doctors for working in Jamaica? If Jamaica and Cuba has a relationship and the doctors are allowed to go from Cuba to Jamaica, they don't have to worry about what's going on in the U.S., right? Well, I was so wrong. So I'm reading through the article as it was put out in Jamaica, but guess what? The article was put out in Jamaica, not giving the full facts. So shout out to my subscriber who said, SoFlo, look at this because this makes more sense. So in Jamaica, Nationwide News Radio says Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says that new rules imposed by the United States, which will effectively prevent Jamaica from hosting Cuban healthcare workers, will pose a significant challenge for healthcare in Jamaica.
All right, let's just stop that. We are not taking too much of that thing here. Now, so after that blown off, Tufton believe that we forgot that. Eh? And since we look around, we ask, where are the Cuban doctors? So when they came out and they polished that, nothing like that, the Cuban doctors slowly disappear, gone from out of our system. And yet, we are in such a shortage as it relates to finding nurse and healthcare workers. Damaging our healthcare. Now, look on Tufton now. Why you think we come here, people? Look on Tufton now. Tufton believe we forgot. Hear this, people. Listen to this. Look on Mr. Tufton now. After all been said and done, he did what he did, wrecked the healthcare. Here is Tufton now. Tufton sounds alarm on Caribbean healthcare crisis. Are you serious, Tufton? You really serious? Region faces critical shortage of 600,000 health professionals by 2030. It's a couple of days ago, people. Couple of days ago, see that Tuesday, September 30, 2025. Make we read back that over. Hold on there. Tufton, are you saying this now? Region faces critical shortage of 600,000 healthcare professionals by 2030. Yeah, then. Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton has issued a strong call for greater regional cooperation to address a growing healthcare workforce shortage that threatens to undermine the health system across Latin America and the Caribbean. Don't bother mix up Latin America and the Caribbean, what you have done. When Marco Rubio came to Jamaica and told you what to do. Speaking at a 60-second directing council of the Pan American Health Organization on September 29, Tufton cited projections warning that the region could face a shortfall of 600,000 healthcare professionals by 2030 if current trends persist. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party administration served more than 2 terms here, And what you give us for healthcare? Dog mess. Right? No MRI machine. Shortage of beds. Not even toilet tissues. No in the hospital. And coupled with that, because of this, there's so much pressure. The few nurses that we have, they are running away because of the tremendous pressure. And what happened to the billions of dollars that projected to fix Cornwall Regional Hospital and to finish it? Yeah? Now we have problem. Cuban doctors laying off, right? Coupled with all of them problem here. Now in the region, a critical pivot point to improve health services is filling the gaps that exist for healthcare workers, he stated, delivering Jamaican official address to the council. We have long had shortages of the registered and specialist nurses and midwives needed to manage service delivery, emergency response, and heightened surveillance. You know, run with the Cuban doctors then. The Christopher Tufton, United States now inveigle you for run with the Cuban doctor then. Eh? Now you are United States now put me in a predicament here. Tufton stressed that looming deficit is especially acute in 3 key areas: medicine, nursing, and midwifery, the very foundation of any robust healthcare system. Can you imagine how Christopher Tufton damaged our healthcare? Take this away when we talk to the people. Take this away. Never go talk to my people. I'm going to talk to my people in a couple of minutes here. I'm going to talk to my people. I'm going to go back to the issue of the Auditor General. Coupled from the fact that we're short of beds in our hospitals, MRI machines, right? And all the necessary facilities. But the most serious situation, so-called healthcare, as it relates to the amount of billions of dollars unaccounted for. I am pointing Jamaica to something, and Jamaica seems like they're not understanding. We keep on ask, why they allow Dunstan to lead the healthcare. Dunstan Bryan, as a result of the Auditor General, found out that more than $700 billion missing from the healthcare. Dunstan Bryan cannot give an account. So you know what they do? You know what they did? The criminal government. The criminal government take time, push Dunstan Bryan out and push in green. Can you imagine? And here the reason why, here the reason that they had given us. That Dunstan Bryan gone and studied. So if Dunstan Bryan, the other day I saw him, you know, at the Prime Minister's ceremony, you know, Jamaica, I'm telling you, the other day I saw Dunstan Bryan at the Prime Minister swearing ceremony. You know whom I also saw there? Rural Reid. So then, the kleptocratic government, Andrew Owens, shield and protect and preserve the criminals. So Dunstan Bryan now can't give account for the billions of dollars unaccounted for. The Prime Minister, Christopher Tufton, and the Jamaica Labour Party administration tell him to exit the floor. Exit the floor. Let me ask you a question, Andrew. How long do you think you can run and switch and grow on the system? Hold on, I want to ask something, Andrew. You know, hold on now plan for read out the love letter. What the IC sent on. Eh? So next week, Tuesday, we are still going to monetize it. We are asking you if you're not going to read out the love letter. The people that want to know who it addressed to. And as I say, I get a little word, but I don't want to speak on it because I don't know how truthful the information is. I prefer to speak when it happens. All right?
Right.
Because sometimes it's not every information that can run down. For me, if me can verify it, I am not going to, you understand, shove it out. I prefer sit down upon it. Make it happen first.
Yep.
So then I am saying, here it is now that you follow United States, you disrespect the Cuban nurses, and then you come out in the media that talk about shortages of nurses. Eh? And then, one to the billions of dollars that's unaccounted for that could help to pay and train new recruits, health nurse recruits. 1 to the billions of dollars. $23 billion allotted for Cornwall Regional Hospital. And all know Cornwall Regional Hospital can't finish. So let me ask a question. So Christopher Tufton and Andrew Ones on a plan to finish the third term and Cornwall Regional Hospital is not going to finish? What do really plan to tell Jamaican people say? Upon completion of this third term, what are you planning to tell Jamaica people say? That from 2016, right? And if you finish the third term, Cornwall Regional Hospital don't finish. What is it that you are going to tell the Jamaican people? But let us leave that alone. I am saying, Green, who you put there now as permanent secretary, we know that Green has not done anything in, unless him start to steal as soon as he get in. And we wouldn't surprise. Based on how we have a kleptocratic government, I wouldn't surprise. If Green starts steal. So if Green listen to me, I tell you, yeah, I wouldn't surprise if I start to thief too. So then Green being there is what? When the IC doing the investigation, we are going to call upon Dunstan to come and answer. So Dunstan, Graham, anyway you're there and you listen to me, try and know, say. We know, say, under your supervision as it relates to procurement, over $700 billion missing under your tenure. So how long you think you can run? You can go on. Now, Sister Spinks, talk on this.
Okay, Uncle Byron. As you know, Andrew is complicit. So anything him tell him to do, him have to do it.
All right.
Can't put it any better. Because I'm just like a prostitute, you know. Anything America say him have to do, him have to do it. Because you look at Venezuela, Petrocarb deal that Portia worked on and committed to. When you look at Haiti, position right now that we have in Haiti, we look at the Cuban doctor medical team, and when we look at the support of Israel right now, you see that Andrew has to bend over anytime America tell him to bend over. But the funny thing about the Cuban medical team is this: the same America, issued a travel advisory And the health sector was one of the reasons for the travel advisory, right? And that was before the Cuban doctors came to Jamaica. The travel advisory was out there from America. And even after the Cuban doctors left, the travel advisory is still in place. And America offered not to help the situation. Tufton had to go to Philippines and try to find some medical staff to fill the gap that the Cuban doctors left here. So even that common sense, Tufton and Andrew never work out the math. The same people asked you to remove the Cuban medical team did not even offer to help you to try and fill that gap or offer another solution to help you out of your problem. And yet they are the ones issuing travel advisory about your own country. And you can't figure that something is wrong. That don't add up. Now, I would like to remind Jamaica that during the COVID time, when our Jamaican nurses or Jamaican medical staff complained about them being understaffed and overworked and overwhelmed with the COVID situation, and they asked for certain things, including a raise of pay or whatever, what and even oxygen being available during the COVID time. Tufton told them they can either stay or leave in the middle of the COVID. Try to remember that, Jamaica. Tufton himself came out and told our Jamaican medical staff they can either stay or go. Some left, and that is when he went to Cuba to get the medical staff from there to come and fill the empty spots here to help out right now at the time. When the American government came out and issued the ultimatum of the visa and or the medical staff from Cuba being asked to leave. And eventually we had to let them go. Sutton had to let them go. Right? And then now he's pleading about us having a medical shortage, staff shortage, when right now in Jamaica we don't even have enough porters, non-medical staff at the hospital, porters, janitors, and sanitation teams. So it, the situation is even worse than in the COVID time because right now we have to thank God that we don't have any disease right now rampant in Jamaica. Because if you don't have sanitation teams, we have seen and heard so many horror stories of mothers and patients in hospitals, dirty bathrooms, hospitals flooding out, patients left on corridors in bed, roaches, cockroach in the hospital, rats running through the hospital, dogs eating human waste coming from the hospital. And I must add to it that Montegonians, when last have you seen the fire that's supposed to burn the bodily waste? Once a week at least, you're supposed to see a fire coming from out of the chimney in Montego Bay, burning waste from the operation theaters. Where is it? Where is it? And let us check all the hospitals across Jamaica and ask what are they doing now with the bodily waste from the operation theaters. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right, melting pot. Let me give you the privilege to close us out, because you know that's it. All right, melting pot.
Yeah, tough tongue now I paint a picture where, you know, it no reflect where really are going as it relate to medical personnel and shortage of medical personnel. Cause if you notice, tough tongue now address Jamaica crisis, you know. But tough tongue are extended to the region, kind of deflect from the real issue in Jamaica. Yeah, and I include the entire region. I don't know who tell him say by 2030 the region I got short at 600,000 medical personnel. Tough tongue, we don't buy them garbage there. Cause tough tongue, I one thing everybody knows. Say, you see, Cuba alone produce them type of people there. Yeah, on a high level. Them turn them out of them university. Because Cuba use that as a mechanism to bring fund to its economy. Yeah. Doctors and nurses are where them supply the world, not just the region. Okay? So what Tough Tongue need to do is come address the real matters at hand as it
Exactly.
relates to where we see are happening at the health ministry. Working condition is an issue. Dilapidated hospital is our next issue. Salary package is an issue. Equipment is an issue. Lack of medical supply is an issue. Yeah. And these are some of the issues that drive away our trained medical personnel to greener pastures, to seek better working condition, better salary, right? And a better career from what they have been invested into to become in life. So tough tongue now talk to it. Where tough tongue need to tell Jamaican people say the country is held at ransom by United States and Donald Trump as it relate to them having to suck up
It's about,
any and everything
yeah.
from the American administration.
Hold on a
Right?
minute, Pat, hold on a minute. Let me hear what Sister Pat have to say. Just give me a minute, Pat. Yes, Sister Pat, go ahead.
Respect, Sister Pat.
Yes.
Like how we understand say the paper them table. Them have a time when they can have to read out it.
Very good question. Very good question. I don't think that there is an established time per se, and that is one of the reasons why there might be sort of biting around it, biting around it. But I think that based on how it is worded, that it should be read out as soon as possible. I know that soon as possible. That's why I find it that in terms of how certain, wording of the laws and understanding it and how it can be manipulated, you understand, and used conveniently. Because having to say that it should be tabled as soon as possible, right? There is no ultimatum given on that particular phrase. So then as soon as possible can mean 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, a year, depending on the terminology. But I'm just saying that I don't think it is going to be anything like that, because remember that the opposition is there, and they will be I presume that they are also observing, right, what is going on. And so then I think that this Tuesday coming, right, we are looking for the IC report to be tabled. And if it doesn't this Tuesday, then I believe that a lot of people now will start to push on it.
All right. Next thing.
Yeah.
When you read out, when you walk, and they say mystic and melting pot and misspeak in it. What?
Okay. I think we are talking about the indicative ruling. The indicative ruling in terms of, huh? Yeah, the indicative.
Yes, like I said.
Okay, the indicative ruling, right, as it relates to, you know, what decision, we don't know the decision being made, you know. Let us get that out of the clear. We know that the report, right, address, right, 4 individuals with 3 indicative rulings, right? So
What is
indicative rulings are simply means that whether charges are going to be laid, whatever, that came as a determination by the corruption prosecutor, whether to recommend charges to say whether this person is to be charged or this person is not to be charged.
Oh, so we don't know if that them are saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
But what we know, what we can deduce in terms of deductive reasoning would have said to you that, okay, all right, Juliet Ones, Tam Tavares, and the secretary would have gotten it, right? Yeah. If it was anything that would have vindicated them, yeah, you know that they would have run out and they would talk about it. So, well, simple means that if it was certain things that would have allowed them, you understand, to say that they are not guilty. Right? Yes. So they are not found to be corrupted or whatever it is. They have been vindicated. So, that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Oh, yes. Oh, man, you have good intelligence, man. Oh, you break it down so easy.
Yeah, my sister part intelligent, you know.
Yes.
When you read out and they say as such person,
yes,
you are charged for whatever. What will be that step there?
Well, remember, you know, that is the first stages of the process in terms of charging them, you understand, and put it into the court. Remember now that they are let me explain this. So there are two mediums that can be used in putting a prosecution in court, right? Or putting cases in court, through the medium of the DPP one or through the medium of the corruption prosecutor, right? So the corruption prosecutor can decide that, okay, all right, he's going to file charges, right, and put it straight into the court, right? It doesn't have to go through the DPP, you know. However, the DPP is the crown prosecutor of the land. So the DPP can step in, you know, if the DPP wants. Because the DPP has that authority. But she doesn't have to. Yeah.
All right. When they said that Mary Jane Tambrown charge, and Mary Jane Tambrown is the Speaker of the House and the Member of Parliament. What happened during that time? They have to go step out of the house.
Well, hear this now. You remember the song of Vegas, though?
I nobody remember me. Tell me which one.
Dance to the rhythm and take care of yourself.
Oh, okay. So therefore, no. When they say take care of yourself, all right, you are no more Member of Parliament, you are no more whatever.
No, remember that you have due process. So if they charge, said all right, said the House Speaker charge, right? Then she can't go on practicing being the House Speaker. Should have to step aside. Yeah, should have to step aside, but deal with our court issue. You understand? So that now will be go into court. Now, if the court find her guilty, you understand? Well, then you don't know it's set. Now that now can be what we call a by-election right then and there. Yes.
Okay, so then you call.
Yes.
Them have to go step down for whatever them a do. Like that the one, but the member of parliament, them are still be member of parliament until the court is finished.
Yeah, because remember that a trial now is in process, and they have to be found guilty. You know, so due diligence, right? They have to put into the court, and the court have to find them guilty. Just like the same situation with the what them call the in-sport guy. Something
Right.
yeah. The remember that they put him in the court and it took some years and now they found him guilty. So now all right.
Okay.
All right.
The next thing again.
Yes.
See Jamaica, some high profile people are dead in some farmer way. They can't understand me.
Why?
So we want to be asked, Mystic.
Yes.
As I do your profession.
Yes.
There's nobody, no agency, nobody at all from overseas. We can call up get them to go assist me in Jamaica.
No, it cannot be done like that. And one of the reasons why it cannot be done like that, because remember that Jamaica is a sovereign country.
What sovereign mean?
Well, sovereign simply means that we have our own constitution that that governs our society. So we have our own constitution. We have our own laws that govern us. You understand? So that make us sovereign, right? As a result of our constitution, right? So then someone that can just come from outside and just breach our constitution and just no, it don't work like that, unless they have been invited by the government, right? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Right? The government, meaning the prime minister, said, all right, you want the FBI to come in, right, and investigate. You understand? It is not like the opposition can call in the FBI and them come in and investigate. No. If there's a situation that, okay, there's some breach as it relates to breaching United States policy, as it relates to international laws, that is a different thing, you know. That is a different thing. You understand? But the United States, yeah. So them can't just come in and just involve domestically in your politics like that. No. Yeah. Well, remember, say the same situation with Israel and Palestine. People can just go in and just defend what they want to defend. You understand? That's, you know, sovereign countries.
Yeah, but that part that is sovereign, that part that is sovereignty need to change. Because we believe a little island like Jamaica. The other day me I watch the storm of Bahamas. I always hear the name Bahamas. It checks your one little place. But by watching it and look this one, me I said that one part we look like when they say NASA.
Yes.
Alone. Big like Jamaica. Or big like Jamaica. NASA alone. I watch it on the TV, you know. And we
Hold on, Sister P. Remember, you know, Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean. So NASA,
but we still small compared to American, some other country.
Oh, you're talking about America?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a country.
Yeah, man. We
just
just look at that.
Yeah, and with too much predicament. And me ask myself the question, I never mad me, man. What is it that the Jamaican people have done? Why the church, private sector, NGO, everybody just turn them back by the poorer class of people. And rob with everything. And one thing we see left at Jamaica, to really white people like me and others out there, is to call up the army and anything they see up on the road, just shoot it down. We don't see nothing else. You don't have no right. If you are working on a right, you can't talk. You can't say in Prime Minister was big. You can't do nothing. You take sick, you can't hospital. You pick the gas school in another book in another teacher. What left? Eh?
Well, I understand the frustration.
No say police, you have to run things they have run down and visit to a policeman that come toward me. I may have moved, I may have. I said, Mr. Sir, me for the police. I don't want to go say, me a fight the bound. The man said, boy, I may tell you, move, boy. And I said, move. It's just to know. Me understand where I come from. But they must say, can't continue like this car.
No, it's sad. Sad.
Mr. Sir, me afraid. What's the like? It's so young. I'm afraid I will probably this one, old one. But me not really want, me not do nothing. But me not really want nothing to do with what's a whistle about when we're not work. I mean, want to go say, take off tick, our stone, and for defend yourself, for shoot me. That's how you reach, you know. Pick me for the police now. All people for the police, everybody for the police. Once you have police, people just for because you can't do them anything. You can't just do anything and just say something. And that's it. Because when the man name come out and tell me, say, Jamaica for justice, and whoever can dictate to him how to do your job. Nobody not dictate to you to do your job. Do your job openly and righteously. Nobody can, when you go kill brown man, nobody don't ridicule them because brown man go shut up for them and then defend themselves. But when you do them and sit there and give about me, Mr. Chang no come out, Mr. Wallace no come out, none of them no come out and speak, but what next? It's present to people like me, we have picnic. No, Byron, this can't continue, man.
Can't continue. It's serious, man. It's terrible, terrible system.
Something have to be done. Something have to be done. We don't know, but something have to be done. We don't know if a rebellion, but something have to be done, bro. Something have to be done. We never know. We have lived the day, the night, the minute, the second that this in Jamaica come to this. I couldn't dream of this. No way. It's not done good. You have two little boys in the yard. You have to fret. Because police are pass and see them and check them and they say, man, where I go? They say them fight about bandit and bandit went to book. The judge and the judge and they did a mysterious way. Or you can't have a person take 6 10 belly at him out of me good. And you have it 14 hours. 14 hours.
But Sister P, hold on there. Relating to that judge lady, listening to that, the case is very simple. The case is very simple. All what the investigators need to do, let me say it out clear. That so-called liquid poison that was found on the scene, all they need to do, track as it relates to who purchased it. Because number one, even if a situation where the so-called
common law husband
it purchased with might be the judge medium of payment, the police can investigate whether or not that at the time that that person paid with the judge card or whatever, where was the judge? Was the judge in court? So then obviously it is not the judge who purchased that poisonous substance. And it's very easy. From once, just track as it relates to the purchase of that item, where it was purchased and who purchased it. And then if he purchased the item, he would have to explain as to why he purchased it. Because he knew very well, you understand, it is poisonous, right? And so then he will have to explain. So all the hanky-panky, why I must say, all the statement, why I must say, and where, blah, blah, blah. You, the investigator, struck as it relates to the purchasing, you understand, of that poisonous substance, right? When it was purchased and who purchased it. And you start digging your case from that. It's very simple. Go ahead, Sister Paul.
Let me tell you. You know what I say? Your case as a detective. You know what I say? Your case is a high profile case. And you know why we tell you it mix up the bar association come out on social media. People are say the woman privacy and dignity out of road because the day when the lady born and her age and this and that. No. Tell me, that person, you believe if that person was a little ordinary youth, it would not jail? We feel to me like the man there, or the person that were involved. And so one of that big neck. Is it them a police? In a part of the jurisdiction? I'm a something. You're not thinking just a one ordinary person. You know, it's why human being like everybody, but we feel like you was some authority. Because the blind, you keep, all right, one part time where if me have police, me have hold up on 14 hours before you carry the person go at doctor, go see me medical attention, and you know, call no neighbor, you know, call nobody, you know, make a phone call, you know, call, and you carry the sick, they have dead somebody, you live more put in a visit and in there doesn't reach, no man, talk wrong. Something is wrong. And me I tell you, this not coming like a ordinary youth to me.
Well,
this coming like a somebody
as I
with your big something.
As I said, Sister Pat, it's very easy. You understand? Track the purchasing of that substance, right? And if he is the person who purchased the substance, then he has to explain as to why he purchased the substance. You understand? And the police dig in from there. It's simple.
Yeah, but we can't make say Madam Jim. And if I near you, where that shit?
Well,
because
of course.
In a country where you live and where melting pot live in another piece of country, he would be the first suspect. So you have to get a little bangles until further notice. Now, so I go.
Yes.
So who to tell if you not take pamphlet and reach out a Zimbabwe?
There are several. Look, when you look in terms of, you have to check the judge's insurance. Was the young man on the judge's insurance? Was there any form of, feeding into the relationship? Right? And you just work. It's an easy case to work. It's an easy case to work, but honestly, that doesn't look suicidal to me.
Corruption part, Mr. That's my problem. Easy case that the blind see that, but the corruption, you can know. Jamaican police, Jamaican system not easy, When hardware people do not, you hear their name, their address, you spot them par, you see their face at Wednesday. But you know, when there's something like this, I see them are talk about the person and in the house, man, where you see them are use doors to name. Something fishy. When you hear, because if I was an ordinary young man, did I hear say name John Brown, and he's from so and so, and he's from so and so. But all you hear is spouse or common law. When you hear them, the name, you know, say, as somebody authority, or somebody well connected. So this is another corruption case. And we have the Bar Association come out and talk about them put out when people born. When for your dead, you hear about it because it go on the paper. It go read in a eulogy. Them not talk about the gruesome death when the woman suffer. But them are talk about dignity and pride and the woman name and the woman full of dress code. When that makes sense? You want that already? So to me, something in a something that can't treat a human being so comes what mean. Imagine this man to the same drinks and his stomach up burn out. And this man mess up himself and you clean him up, put him on bed and clean up house. And you carry him to the hospital 7 o'clock from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in bed. No, sir. Anyway, thanks for your understanding about the courts.
All right. All right. Bless up yourself, Sister P.
So pick up yourself and say hi to Anne-Marie. I hope she get well soon.
All right. Will do. Thank you. All right, Melting Pot. Continue the program, my brother.
Yeah, maybe just say something in relation to where Sister Pat asked a question about documents being tabled in Parliament. When a document is tabled in Parliament, it goes to the Speaker of the House. She can read it out on the day, or she can read it out on the next sitting of Parliament, but it's not have no further delay. Okay? So that's supposed to answer. That's how we know the Westminster model run, and I eat them about Jamaica, so it's supposed to apply down there as well.
Yeah. How long the IC Senate?
Well, I don't know as to what time frame did it reach the Parliament, but normally them documents reach Parliament for it read out in a Parliament and then sitting date in Parliament. But say if Parliament have some matters, going on, the Speaker of the House can make mention of it, but defer it to the next sitting of Parliament. But it's not supposed to stay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sitting up before it and people have to beg feet read. No.
Exactly. I agree with you.
That's why Andrew put back size 13 there, so because she suppressed them things there. Yeah, but it's not going to work this time. Yeah, because with Marky G, make sure no say now the power we used to have. The man have to answer to Marky G them. So Marky G will force them now. That's why Andrew do know, him use another tactics, him don't turn up. Our size 13 no turn up. That's how them do it. But them can't do it for too long. Cause it's about what me whole heap of can of worm upon them. Yeah, but me could jump back on Tough Tongue and where I talk about now.
Yes.
Yeah. What Tough Tongue need to talk about, is monetary, being available to supply the medical needs in the country. And the money where we know them boast about what them spend, we not see it being spent. Them can't get an account for a vast amount of millions of dollars from the health sector. Now that would always be there to train nurses, improve them wage package to keep your nurses in your country. So if the mechanism is not in place to keep these people are professional people, and their skills are sought all over the world. So them going to leave. So it's not like people now sign up to be trained as nurses or medical people, then put it so. People are going into these professions through university. Them get trained up on everything. But after them train and come into society for work, what them find is that it's not to their appetite what serve up in a Jamaica. So them have to leave and go get a better menu somewhere else. As it relates to working condition, pay and everything like that. Yeah. Because Tough Tongue them steal the money. we have to boost the working environment and the training aspect of nurses in Jamaica. And so when him double down upon what him a talk about and a paint the thing as a regional crisis, him not have no clue about regional shortage. Because I said Cuba produce nurses. I remember the rest of the country them use them. Because Trump can't tell them to send them back. So the rest of island them in the region. Them well have them nursing intact. The staff, it's not short staff. It's only Jamaica no have the crisis there. Because Jamaica government mix up and have to bow down to United States policy. And tough tongue need to just start the truth because we know the truth and many people know the truth, so that's how it go. Yeah. So flow did I play it, you know. And that so flow I tell you say. And I just sending them home is the reason why you have to send them home. Him couldn't do it to Barbados. Exactly. Barbados Prime Minister run with America. Because what America want to do is keep the trade embargo on Cuba as it relates to them being still under a trade embargo by United States and some first world country. Yeah. But Trump break the law so still. Yeah. I say I whole heap of country should have come in the defense of Cuba. Cuba can't remain in exile for this long period of time. Because remember I know Fidel Castro did it. Yeah, and Cuba have them one line. You know. Cuba is a sovereign nation. So if you have a running pan Cuba now, yeah, and want to destroy them infrastructure where them have, because you feel you're big and mighty, and you have to tell people. It's only Jamaican government Trump them can't talk to. As I said, them can't talk to other people in the region. Because if you're not corrupted, America can't talk to you, you know. As an independent country, America can't talk to you if you're not corrupted. America talk to you when you're corrupted. And this is where Jamaica find themselves. And this is why the nurse them have to leave and gone back to Cuba. So shortage is not the problem. Policy is the problem. Transparency is the problem. And accountability for health fund is the problem. I yield back the floor.
All right, you want to talk? Yeah, man. Okay, let me put you up. All right. Yes, caller. You're on Mystic Sensation line. Go ahead.
Yes, Mystic. Bless up to the panel. Bless up to everybody. I just wanted to call in before I go to bed.
All right.
You know, I just wanted to point something out to you real quick and just see if you can zero in on what I'm saying. If you notice, all this antics and all these basically corruption schemes and whatnot that's been going on in Jamaica. If you notice, Mystic, you notice that this all started like after the Queen died? You notice that?
Yeah, that, you know, since you talk about it.
You notice after the Queen died, like everything like started like erupting in a sense. You notice that?
Yeah, since you talk about it, I mean, yeah, it seems, yeah, I see your train of thought.
Just try to think deep real quick for a second, because you guys are real investigational journalists. I put you guys at the top, but just think about it for a second. After the Queen died, a lot of things went haywire, brother. A lot of things went haywire. A lot of things are not in what they supposed to be. You know, it started going crazy. Think about it for a second. Think about the timeline. All right.
Yeah.
Even with wholeness and also the term that he was in. Did she die when he was in the first term, or did she die when she was in fourth term? I don't remember. You tell me.
Well, I'm just not going to give you information like that because I would have to research it. And since this is fresh, right? I don't want to speak loosely.
Exactly. Brother, have a good night. I love the panel.
Blessings.
Research that to me. Remember, things started going haywire after the queen that loved Jamaica. Remember, that woman loved Jamaica to the fullest.
Yeah.
If you do a research, if you do research on her,
yeah, I'm going to have to do some digging.
Jamaica, yeah, man.
You remember
Jamaica,
you remember the digging? You remember the thing that you asked me to do as it relates to the police officers? Yeah, man, I have done it, you know, but I found it that it is not the same set of police who had done the killing in Bagwalk there. No, there are different pockets of police. Yes, they are different.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. That's good to know, brother. All right, yeah.
All
I'll
right.
keep doing my research, but you keep doing yours, man. Hey, respect to the channel. Love you guys, man.
Love you too, man. Blessings.
Yeah, man. Bless her, bless her. Hey, listen.
Yes.
Remember, research.
Yeah, man.
How much the Queen loved Jamaica and how much things happened after her death.
Yes.
After her death. Because King Charles cares nothing about Jamaica, brother. He doesn't care about what goes on there. You understand? He's like,
yeah. It's interesting. I'm going to do some digging in that. Because the Queen died in what? 2022, I believe, or 2023?
Yeah, 2022.
2022.
No,
yeah.
2022.
2022. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
This research what she loved Jamaica and what she went through with Seaga and what she went through to try to fight for Jamaica. The Queen really loved Jamaica, but after she died, the corruption basically erupted like a volcano.
Wow.
Believe me when I tell you this. It erupted like a volcano. Because nobody was there to oversee certain people. Certain people are supposed to be, they're supposed to be honorable to the Queen. You know who I'm talking about, the GG.
Yeah, yeah.
After the woman dead, the GG gone wild, brother. The GG gone wild. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you for your input, as always. Yeah. Well, all right. Blessings. Well, Melting Pot, I want to tell you, big thanks. You understand, as always, right? Coming out and giving impactful responses, right? We love that, right? Now I want to say big thanks to, all the subscribers, all the persons in the chat who participating, right? Always follow the Mystic Sensation. Mystic Sensation, love you dearly, right? So we want to say just keep the support, right? And keep it strong, right? While we doing the research and doing the digging for you, because we love our Jamaican people and we want back Jamaica. We're not going to stop from fight until we get back Jamaica. When we say fight, it simply means our fight is searching for the truth, expose the liars, expose the corruptors, and make sure that they serve a time through the judiciary, right? That is why we are here. That is why Melting Pot is here. Spinks is here. You understand? Lonesome, Rattigan, you name it, right? They in the space. So, people, bless up on yourself. Love you all. Melting Pot, out.
Bless up.
Yes, bless it.
Bless.
All right.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.